The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Wait till you hear what Jet star Quinnen Williams said about the awful New York Jets defense. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Dylan Tereman will join us. Let's hit it and get it started.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
the 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you hit the like button. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you are aware that the show is available as a podcast in audio form on either Apple or Spotify. Just search Jake Asman Show, subscribe there, and take the show on the go if you are unable to watch it live on YouTube. With that, let's say hello to our guy DT Dylan Tereman, who joins us now in his weekly Thursday spot. Dylan, another week of Jets football is just days away, and I don't think there's any fan out there that realistically thinks the Jets are going to win on Sunday.
Yeah, I come in here smiling, but it's not like there's going to be a lot of positive things to talk about. Sometimes the best thing after a loss is you only get 6 or 7 days to rectify it, right? And it feels like the Jets haven't been able to do that for over a month. So, oh man, here we are, 0-5. The tone of your intro video is not very good, and that's just a product of what the team is right now, not very good. So, here we are again.
Shout out to Raymond, who says the only good thing about the Jets is this show. Well, we appreciate you, Raymond. We're going to do our best, whether they win or lose. I'm here every day talking about this team year-round for my full-time job. So we'll be here with you, Jet fans. We'll be up early watching this one at 9:30 in the morning Eastern time. I feel bad for any of our Jet fan listeners on the West Coast or really any other time zone because that is really, really early. Dylan, why don't we start with something light before we get to what Quinnen said about the defense? What is the breakfast spread for DT watching this game Sunday morning?
It's certainly going to feature a lot of greens. We don't need to specify exactly what kind of greens those are, but
I believe they call that wake and bake, but you could tell me more.
They might call it that. Yes, you're 100% right. But I am traveling up to New Jersey this weekend. My little baby dog turns 10 tomorrow, so I'm going to visit her, and I will be enjoying a pork roll and cheese sandwich, salt, pepper, ketchup from my local bagel smith. So that is exactly what it's going to be at 9:30 in the morning. Maybe an Arizona iced tea on the side. That's probably what it's going to be. Yeah, Boomtown. It's going to be kale. Exactly.
Yep. Nailed it. All right. Well, everyone watching live and not watching live, comment down below what food items and drink items you'll be consuming as we watch the Jets upset the Denver Broncos, baby. Oh, yeah. Well, if they are going to upset the Broncos, Dylan, they're going to need their defense to not be, to quote Quinnen Williams, the worst in the league. Here's Quinnen Williams speaking. One thing I noticed, think about Quinnen Williams when he first got to the Jets and really even the last few years, how joyous he was and had that personality, happy-go-lucky. Now he just sounds sad. Here's sad Quinnen being asked about the Jets defense.
I don't even think about the trip because if we was in New Jersey right now, it would be the same kind of mindset right now because like we are 0-5 and the defense to me has been the problem, the reason why we're 0-5. And to be as a unit, to be as a team, we have to pull that together, especially on defense, to make sure we do the necessary things we can do. So if we was in Florham Park right now, it'll be the same conversations, the same attitude, the same solution-based things when it comes down to fixing and applying the solutions to Sundays. So it's one of those things like when you 0-5, no matter where you at, you got to fix things. When you probably the worst defense of the league, no matter where you at, you got to fix things if you want to win football games and go into the right direction. So we got to do a lot of stuff. We haven't been pass rushing like we want to be pass rushing this last 5 weeks. To get back to doing the things we necessarily can do has been a great front four of us in the defensive line room, not only personally, but as a unit, as a group. And we just got to find a way to get to the quarterback and affect the quarterback, because I think that's the number one thing that's going to help this defense ascend and go to the next direction is affecting the quarterback and getting after the quarterback. And we haven't been doing that, and we tend to turn that around. So. Me included, man. No, everybody in that defensive room, coaches included, everybody included. Our job is to keep the offense from scoring, defend our end zone, defend our team, and we have to do a better job of that no matter what happens on offense, no matter what happens on special team, no matter what happens in the world. Like, our job is to defend the end zone, to defend the 1 yard line all the way into the opposite 1 yard line. So we have to do that, and we haven't been doing that, and we have the solutions to be able to do that, and I can't wait to apply those solutions. So
they have the solutions to do it. We hope he's right. But Dylan, some of the stronger quotes there. Antoine Staley with the tweet here to put it up on the screen. Quote, "We are 0-5, and the defense has been the problem and the reason we are 0-5. When you're 0-5, no matter where you are at, you got to fix things. When you're probably the worst defense in the league, no matter where you at, you got to fix things." Quinnen, unloading. Also, he's right. DT, your thoughts?
Dude, I remember Quinnen Williams when he had braces, when he was blessing and thanking himself for a sneeze, and he was so joyous. Yeah, that is like the opposite of Quinnen's personality on display right there at the podium. So first and foremost, obviously the body language sucks. He started it out by saying they can't even enjoy their trip across the pond because they're so shitty that all they can do is sit in the hotel and just search for those solutions that he talked about. Obviously, we need to see those solutions come to life and actually be a part of their game plan. I do agree with AG a little bit. They are sliding the protection to his side more often than not because, much like Garrett Wilson on offense, they don't have dogs along that defensive front in most cases. Obviously, they're not playing Will McDonald a full amount. You know, I'd say put him in on early downs even just to give you a threat, but they're keying in on Quinnen on the offensive line perspective. So he's not able to do what he can do. He's still being, pretty disruptive in the run game, but his pass rush production is obviously not there. Nobody's is on this team outside of week 1. Maybe Jermaine Johnson coming back will help that as well. But I feel bad for Quinnen Williams because he looks so dejected, and I keep using the quote, "the dejected Jets," but that's more of like the quote from, I see you put Samini's tweet up here. He wrote a column yesterday and talked about players admitting to a "here we go again" mentality. And I don't think Quinnen demonstrates that, right? I don't think Quinnen is like responsible for that mentality, nor is his brother, to be honest. But there's guys on this team that have it. And Quinnen is basically acknowledging, look, it's got to change. We are not the worst defense in the league. Technically, thank God for the Baltimore Ravens right now, or else the Jets would be the worst. But it's just a sad state of affairs when one of your happiest players is not very happy.
Dylan, what were your expectations going into the season for the Jet defense, right? Because now I think there's a convenient narrative by some trying to justify, this 0-5 record and how bad the defense has been by saying, well, the talent's not any good. What did you expect? But going back to your assessment of this team, what did you specifically expect from the defense?
Defensively, I thought the cornerback room was going to be the strongest on this team, like by a wide margin. I know running back and offensive line are still going to be up there. Those were my top 3 groups, but I really felt like cornerback was going to be the one that was going to carry our team. They talked about driving the boat from the back. I bought into it, even though that analogy technically doesn't work. But those are the guys that have been the biggest letdowns. So it's been a complete opposite for me. I think offense has exceeded my expectations individually. I think the majority of this fan base, honestly, the offense has exceeded their expectations, and defense, it's literally been a complete 180 compared to what it's been. So we're trying to figure out, is it a player issue? Is it a coach issue? I'm starting to lean toward it's the players more because of that here we go again mentality. We see the effort plays or lack of effort plays on defense, but it's truly just upsetting is the word I found, because it's so underwhelming with this defense. And every time they're on the field, you just kind of hide your eyes and hope that something happens where, do we need to play Will Levis for him to just lateral backwards to nobody in a game for us to win? Like that's what it feels like we're at now. We're a rookie quarterback with 5 backup offensive linemen. Maybe we have a chance. Like that's how bad it is right now. And that should not be the case with this defense.
I just think you could easily blame the players, and that's fair. But that mentality that you're referencing, that's on the head coach and the coaching staff, a brand new staff coming in to get that out of these guys. And the fact that they haven't, that's concerning. And there's also like this story of, well, Glenn needs to get his own guys in there, give it time. Well, he went out of his way to not bring any of his guys in there this past offseason. So we can't conveniently now say, oh, he's got to now go get some guys that know him from the Lions. He chose not to do that. The only guy they brought in with Detroit ties is Josh Reynolds, who played for Dan Campbell 2 years ago and is not even on the same side of the ball that Aaron Glenn was coaching. So, like, they kept a lot of these guys that had that, quote, loser mentality that has been percolating through the Jet organization over the last decade plus.
Yeah, I think when he came in, he was definitely maybe like peacocking a little bit and like talking shit about the old regime, saying like, oh, it's just coaching. It's going to be, our coaching staff's going to figure it out. We're going to get these guys to play, their best version of their football, their brand of football. And to me, the expectation was, okay, if you're going to talk that much game, you got to hit on like 60% of these guys, right? Whether it's Sherwood, who you signed to a big contract, Steven Cisco, who you brought in, obviously Josh Reynolds, like literally any guy that they brought in on their own accord. Like you have to be able to bring up 60% of those guys. And I feel like it's the exact opposite. It might be less than 30% that they're actually getting like the most out of, like that, quote, their guys. And the thing to me that I liked about Saleh, and I feel like it worked early on, is they talked about flag bearers. Back in 2023, I was taking notes June 1st for a Jet Nation show that Glenn and I were doing. And the quote that I have when they signed Randall Cobb, and at that point, obviously, a lot of people were mixed about where Saleh was, but he had a good quote about flag bearers. And he said, those are the guys who are going to plant the flag and be able to echo the messaging. They already know what it is. To have those guys are priceless. No different than when we brought in Solomon Thomas and Quan Alexander a year ago, Marcel Harris, DJ Reed, all the guys who have had familiarity with our system and messaging and our voice. Now, you apply that to this year with AG, it didn't seem like he got in a lot of guys that are going to carry his voice and find those flag bearers, to use Saleh's exact phrasing. I think that is what's genuinely missing from this team. And that's why I'm not ready to cut ties completely. Obviously, I know they had the opportunity to do it this year in the free agency to bring in some of their guys that can relay that message. I want to see this offseason to see if they can bring in 3 or 4 of those guys to actually echo that messaging, and then, add some young guys too as well. So I'm not fully out on them, but the messaging is just bad, and they need players who are going to actually buy into their system and not just say they're bought in. Like Garrett Wilson, he's bought into the offensive system. It's clear as day that he likes what Engstrand is doing and how he's getting the ball. Obviously, he wants it to be probably a little bit more efficient early on in the game so he can make an impact just like everybody else. But defensively, we need guys that are actually going to carry that message. I don't think, the Sherwoods and the Tony Adams and the Sauce Gardners of the world, those holdovers at those levels, like I don't think they're carrying the message. I think Quinnen does a decent job of trying to carry the message, but other than that, it's hard to find. Maybe Quincy.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live right now, hit the like button. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Let's announce the giveaway for today. You brought up Garrett Wilson. Since he is the guy that is truly holding up his end of the bargain for this team, let's give away another Garrett jersey at the end of the stream. Get the membership to enter or send in a $10 super chat or higher. If you don't win, you do automatically get entered in our weekly raffle draw, which will be on Tuesday, for a signed Justin Fields jersey, a signed Sauce Gardner jersey, and a signed Bart Scott. Can't wait. Inscription jersey. So check that out for those of you who are interested in winning any of those prizes. Big shout out to the Great Human Fund, who was the first to gift a membership during today's program.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
Thank you very much to the human fund. Dylan, we'll talk more about this game. Let's start with the injury report that is out. Jermaine Johnson, positive signs here. He is on track to return Sunday. He was limited today, but Aaron Glenn saying that as long as Jermaine made it through Thursday, we would expect him to be able to go on Sunday. Glenn will speak tomorrow for the final time before kickoff, so we'll get a final update on Jermaine, but it's looking good. Same with Quinnen Williams as well, so we might have our punt returner, kick returner guy back, and Jermaine being back, self-explanatory what that could mean for the defense.
Yeah, these are two guys that have been sorely missed on their respective units. Obviously, special teams with Nwangu. Can we just get back to, just a low floor, not going to like really wow you type of guy? Like that's all we were really preaching for in his absence. So now if we can get him back, we have obviously at least know we can trust him to a degree. And then he has that splash play upside. Like he doesn't really put the ball on the turf, and there's a good chance he can break one and get you out some net positive yards, even if they do start in the end zone and don't take a knee, which I know is like a big harping point for a lot of fans. It just doesn't make sense when you net like -6 yards by taking a knee and then trying to run it out and only getting to the 29. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I hope that Nwangu can boost the special teams, and Jermaine Johnson's going to help in all phases. Run defense, which hasn't been terrible, except for a couple missed tackles on certain plays, obviously last week against Javonte Williams. So he's going to help in all phases, hopefully get the pass rush going again. I'm pretty happy. I joked on Monday with Buffalo Jet Fan on my channel that they should just keep Allen Lazard in the States, and it seems like they did that. And I don't know what's going on. Hopefully nothing like too crazy in his personal life, obviously, but he is not going to play. And then Michael Carter's obviously not going to play with his concussion. It doesn't make sense. He's going to miss a game and not make that big trip when you have a concussion. It doesn't make sense to fly that much. So unfortunate for Michael Carter and Lazard, but I'm happy that we get JJ back, and Nwangu would be a huge boost. And somebody said it in the chat, who the F is Jamarcus Weston? He might be the savior, folks, at linebacker. The coaching staff really loves him, and he did really well in the preseason before he got hurt. And I thought he was going to make the 53 over a guy like Zaire Barnes, who Barnes didn't end up making it either. But Jamarcus Weston is supposed to be somewhat decent, and it's going to obviously affect special teams as well.
Super chat from the big fella, first of the show. He says, true stat, Jamar Chase has more tackles than Michael Clemens.
That's true. He had like 3 tackles in one game. And at one point in like the fourth quarter of the game, he was the leading tackler on his team because of all the Jake Browning interceptions. But now they have Joe Flacco. So the Flacco revenge game comes 2 weeks sooner for the Jets.
Oh, baby. Omari with a super chat. One of our best players just called out the defensive play caller. Glenn, I hope you're listening. Hurry and turn this flippin' bleep around.
Yeah, maybe he called him out indirectly. I don't know if that's necessarily it. I think he was kind of shouldering.
I think he called everyone out. Yeah,
I think he was shouldering the blame more with the players than the scheme. Like he didn't say we're not being put in the best positions to win. Like those are the little red flags that go off in my brain when I hear those like little buzzwords. Like when the players say they're not being put in the best position to win, or I feel like I can do more for this team, not from like an individual perspective, but from a schematic standpoint. That's when I feel like they're calling out the play caller. Obviously, nobody's happy right now, and Wilkes is due his fair share of the blame, obviously. But I just don't think that was a direct or indirect call out of Wilkes.
Yeah, one thing Quinnen did say is he's like, the coaches have given us the solutions to our problems, and we got to execute it. So he's trying to back the coaches. Yeah.
Which Tony Adams kind of echoed the same sentiments, and I know Tony Adams, nobody wants to hear from him right now at this point, but he's basically saying the same thing. He's like, we're being given like the answers to the test and we're just not applying them, basically. So maybe, the players are finally taking some accountability after all that. Hopefully the film session, obviously the one with Joe Blewett was pretty void of effort. And hopefully the one that they watched with the whole Jets team in the room was pretty telling on some of these guys.
Omari says, I was at the Denver game last year. Different outcome, please. For those who remember the game last year, you hope you don't remember it because it was a nightmare. In the game last year, Denver beat the Jets 10-9 despite just 60 passing yards from Bo Nix in that game. Greg Zuerlein missed a kick at the end in a monsoon that could have helped the Jets get out of Dodge and steal that one. They lost. Now, a year later, they're playing the Broncos in London. And if you think about it, it all goes back to that Denver game because the Jets were 2-1. They were 9.5-point favorites at home. They lost 10-9. Then they go to London at 2-2, lose the London game to the Vikings, fall to 2-3. Robert Saleh gets fired, and since then the Jets are 3-14.
And David Saleh is taking pot shots at us on Twitter. Just not the place you want to be. Honestly, though, I have to disagree with the overall point. I would take a 10-9 loss. Truthfully, with the state of things, I would take a 10-9 loss because that means the defense showed up more than it didn't. And I get it in that game that we're referencing. Bo Nix couldn't throw an actual pass for 2.5 quarters while it was raining. He was shot
so bad. Honestly,
it was the worst quarterback play I've ever seen. And then the sun comes out and they pull it out of their ass. And Rodgers had already been hurt at that time. He had 48 rushing yards in the first half. And then he got hurt and he got bent over backwards. And it is what it is. But that was the game to have. But honestly, I would take a 10-9 loss because it shows that you're competitive on defense and maybe the offense just didn't show up. But that's what we actually thought we'd get with this Jets team. So that would actually be more on par.
It's hard to believe, man. That game also. I remember Allen Lazard got flagged for doing the pointy finger gun. Ridiculous.
It's the softest call ever. I can't believe it.
This one is from Trig Tech, who says, "Oh Lord, Jake, I can't believe I'm gonna wake up early for this game. Make sure you stock up on liquor." You want to hear something even crazier, Trig Tech? I'm doing my weekly radio show during this game, so I will be on the air talking about this game and the other games going on. Later that day, I do a weekly Sunday show on ESPN New York called New York Game Day. It's me and the guy who helped hire Glenn, Mike Tannenbaum. Looking forward to talking to him about Glenn being the first-time Jet head coach to start 0-5. That won't be awkward or anything. So, yeah, me and Mike T are doing our show 8 to noon. The last 2 international games, the fourth quarter was just starting when we were getting off the air. So I'll have 3 quarters of stress and trying to do a talk show, and then the last quarter to watch the Jets. But by then, it might be garbage time. So who knows? Hopefully the Jets could keep it close. But I just think this is a really bad matchup for them, Dylan. You look at Denver, right? Last week they overcame a 14-point deficit on the road to beat the Eagles. Denver, their defense leads the NFL in total QBR. They lead the NFL in sacks and pressures. We know Justin Fields holds onto the ball forever. I don't think this is a good matchup at all for the Jets. And also, that's just the Jet offense versus their defense. How about the complete mismatch of Sean Payton's mind going up against a Steve Wilks coach defense?
Yeah, my biggest fear is I guess the storyline is the Jets better not get schooled. That's all it comes down to. The mentor better not school the mentee. Sean Payton, is gonna he's gonna do things to Aaron Glenn, not to necessarily embarrass him. But I'm trying to think of who the coach was. Ben Johnson, when he went back and played Detroit in week 2 of this season. Detroit came off the loss in week 1 to Green Bay, and they were all saying, oh, Detroit misses all their coordinators are gone, whatever. They hung 52 points on the Bears. And Ben Johnson, after the game, he's he did what he's supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to do. They put their foot on your neck, and they just stepped down. That's basically what he was saying. I'm worried that that's what's going to happen to this game coming up. But yeah, offensively, quick game passing. That's my storyline for offense. Quick game passing. Fields, when he throws balls under 3.0 time to throw. Obviously, his season-long metric is closer to 3.5. I think it's 3.4 something. But when it's under 3 seconds time to throw, he has a 73.6% completion percentage, 53 of 72. So there's a decent sample size of him throwing it under 3 seconds, 72 pass attempts. So 73% completions is great. 497 passing yards, 6.9 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and the best part, no sacks. That's going to be the tell. Can Engstrand dial up some quick game passing? Can Fields trust the offensive line, set the protection right? I don't know if that's a Fields or an offensive line or a combination of both issue, but too many guys are catching on the hot mic on the broadcast where you're saying, who's the mic? It was Andrew Beck this week. He was lined up at fullback, and he said, who's the mic? They need to get that stuff situated up front first, so that's a Fields and O-line thing. But if he can throw with under 3 seconds more consistently and a little bit earlier on in games, I think they'll have a chance. Obviously, you need to, probably be shotgun exclusive so you can fake the zone reads and all the RPO type things that they want to do as well. But the quick game passing needs to be activated before it's 23-3 or 30-6 or whatever the score is, and they just start going 11 personnel shotgun. I understand we all love the 12 personnel, the heavy. Let's open up some rush lanes for Breece, but we're going to have to figure it out so we can be a little bit more balanced, because I love running the ball, but it doesn't matter when you're running the ball down 23 points in the third quarter. That doesn't matter to me. So let's get the quick game going. And defensively, yeah, the Broncos like to pass a lot. Their pass game splits or pass run splits in the first half is heavily favoring passing. They have 37 out of 62 total plays in the first quarter is passing. So that's 60% clip. They're not running to establish the pass. They're passing to establish the run. And in the third and fourth quarter, they flip completely and they just start pounding you with Dobbins and sometimes RJ Harvey a little bit. But they are a pass first team early on in games. So that means boot actions. We saw that a ton with Bo Nix last year. They're going to keep doing that. That's what he likes to do. That's what I think he's best at. So Sean Payton's going to dial up ways to get this defense to think too much and overthink and be in the wrong spots. And let's just not get embarrassed. And hopefully AG doesn't get completely schooled.
So this next super chat is from the great Nick Shine, who says, we have 41 in for the tailgate so far. Raffle me, please. NDT. Blackjack Saturday. What is he saying?
Blackjack. He's going to the casino that's like 30 minutes from where I'm going to be in New Jersey, and he's playing blackjack on Saturday. And he's trying to convince me, I believe, to come out and be a degenerate gambler for the night with our friend Nick Shine. So that's a possibility. I have to see what the plan is when I'm up in New Jersey, but we could possibly make that a thing, Nick.
The other comment that Nick Shine made was about garbage time being our time, in reference to the fact when I get off the air, fourth quarter starting, that is typically garbage time. What did you make of Aaron Glenn? And this quote I'll put on the screen here, that basically our eyes are lying to us, Dylan, that the idea that Fields and the offense putting up stats late in games, that's the Jets just getting into a groove at that time. And it has nothing to do with the game being out of hand when the Jets are able to finally start scoring some points.
Yeah, I heard all your abysmal stats all week long about the 6-point-something points in the first three quarters that I'm sure you're going to hit me with in a second. It's unfortunate because it's true, but it's also unfortunate because AG kind of has to say this in order to not throw his players completely under the bus, and I get that. And the quotes themselves are not great, but I kind of understand it. It is a lot of inflated garbage time. The rushing stats, obviously not. The field stats, certainly. Maybe not all of his rushing stats necessarily, but yeah, there it is. That's the part that's disappointing. Is it doesn't really matter whose fault it is. Justin's stats, the rushing stats, like when it's this bad, everything unfortunately you can say is to blame, and that's, I don't know, the garbage time stuff. It's true, but I think they're not using Fields enough early on in games. And I've said it before, you got to play with confidence. And if he's not playing with confidence, the games are pretty much lost before you even have a chance. And then you couple in the mentality of some of these players, and it goes downhill very quickly. You know, the Fields stat about the defense letting up 21 plus points. He's 0 for 482 at this point in his career. So we know what the limitations are of Fields. And I feel like sometimes we have to think outside the box to get him going early on so that these stats don't look so embellished in garbage time.
It's really hard to believe that this is real.
It's sad.
Like, since week one, folks, the Jets have not scored an offensive touchdown until they've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. I mean, the stat padding is as fake as you'll see. I mean, I'll give the Jets this. In the past, they probably do usually lose the game, 30-3 or, 23-6. They don't get the garbage time scores, so the final scores look worse. But, my God, they got to get off to a good start because they're not built to play from behind. It's all compounded when your defense is terrible and you're not built to be able to throw and get back in games.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as we kill the guys for like having that give up mentality on defense sometimes, we have to not kill these guys for trying. Like, it's not a player issue, it's a coaching issue that they're not competitive in the first half of these games. Obviously, the ability and talent of some of these players is just lacking, but you're getting out coached if these guys only have garbage time stats. So we gotta find a way to get our players in better position to win. And that's been the theme of this season. And I'm still waiting to see it. And to Pat Rich's comment right here about exceeding expectations with the offense. Yeah, I think the offense has exceeded my expectations. My expectations were very low for this offense. I didn't think Fields was going to be this good with his ball security like he was in those 6 games in Pittsburgh. I thought they were just kind of telling him to protect the ball. And now it feels like we're getting a little bit more of that throughout the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks since he's been back since the concussion. Maybe the concussion is to blame. I know he has a history of epilepsy, so like maybe there is something there that they don't have, full trust in him. And at that point, you kind of pull the plug and you go to Tyrod until you feel Fields can do the full offensive stuff, because we haven't seen the zone read. We haven't seen him keep it a ton. And I know he had some misreads against Pittsburgh, but there's only one way to kind of fix that, and that's just running it more and seeing more looks by the defense and having a better picture every time you're at that mesh point and Fields is staring at the end man of line of scrimmage. So I don't know. It's a coaching issue. It's a player issue. And unfortunately, when we're this bad, Jake, you can look at anything and just point to it and say that's wrong and it's bad. And unfortunately, that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Quest is calling his shot. He says we are winning Sunday. Believe they will not ruin our Sunday. Jay Quest, I really want to know, what type of drugs are you doing? And you have to send some immediately to Dylan Tereman.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
I hope he's right. I really do, man. I would love nothing more than to be able to update the moral victory dance to an actual victory dance.
Yeah, man. I'm at the point where I do my recap video basically like the second the game ends, so that I'm still like in my actual natural feelings about the game. They're getting a little bit longer as I rant a little bit more about the team, but I can only muster up about like 15 to 20 minutes, and then I have to just let it go. I cannot let it consume my Sundays anymore. I told myself a couple years back that I will only allow the Jets to consume roughly 200 minutes of my Sunday, and that's like 1 to 4, maybe a little bit longer if there's overtime by any chance. But dude, I can't, because I'll lose sleep over this team sometimes. Like I'm like Tommy calling out of work on Monday, maybe not to that degree, but like it's that you have that feeling like you're just like, I don't want to go into work. Even like down here in the South, nobody like follows the Jets, but they see me with the Jets stuff on and they're like, oh, how they doing? And I'm like, don't even ask. Like it's awful.
How they doing? Their ass. That's how they're doing.
Keep it a buck, we ass.
Peter Castro with a super chat. Tannenbaum sold us out for Glenn. Agreed to fire Rodgers. You're hired. It's funny, Peter, because you were anti bringing Rodgers back, but now all of a sudden, dun dun dun. Look, to this point, Aaron Glenn's been a disaster. The best thing I could say about Aaron Glenn is that he has 12 games left that show improvement. Turn this around. So we don't need to have the uncomfortable one and done conversation if this team wins 2 games and they're sitting there with the top pick in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing that not many people want to talk about, and I've always kind of pressed the issue on Jet Nation, Woody's like input on that. We know he was likely to hire a guy who didn't want Rodgers back. He could frame it all he wanted as far as I'm going to let the coach decide. I don't think so. And like, yeah, sure, you can consider that handcuffing your coach out the gates, but I truly think that there was only coaches on the list who did not want Rodgers back. And maybe you can press Mikey T about that on ESPN.
I tried at the combine. I got to pull that
sure.
clip. And he wouldn't give me an answer. I'm like, how do you not interview? You interviewed they interviewed the Maryland coach, but they didn't interview Mike McCarthy. Come on.
Yeah, we were giving the Patriots shit for circumventing the Rooney Rule, and I truthfully just don't remember that guy's name from Maryland. But it was like, what are we doing here? Yeah, the amount of weird coaches that we interviewed in the process, as I'm pulling it up.
Mike Loxley.
Yeah. In order: Ron Rivera, Vrabel, Rex Ryan, which was I feel like a sympathy thing. Nagy. Oh God, if we hired Matt Nagy. Aaron Glenn, Mike Loxley, that was his name. Spagnuolo. Dude, if we got Spags for our guy Neil, that would have been crazy. But then like Darren Rizzi, obviously we had to do Ulbrich, Vance Joseph, Arthur Smith, that's actually hilarious. Slowick, Bobby Slowick, is he even in the league right now? Flores, Jeff Hafley, my freaking guy in Green Bay, McCown, and Joe Witt Jr. Like, That's a pretty uninspiring list.
What a list. Trig writes in, sounds like we had a good week of practice. Here are the Jets on the practice field, or sorry, on the practice pitch across the pond, Dylan.
Looking like fall on a football in London needs to be in the game plan. Fall on a goddamn football, please.
You know what I hate? That the Jets try and do like this thing where they just tweet in all lowercase because they think they're cool.
Oh, like not capitalizing the L and looking?
Yeah. Like, who do you think you are? You're 0-5.
At least they capitalized the L in London. I
Like,
guess that'd be the only one, but yeah. I mean, the social media team, like I feel almost bad for them in a way because like they're just doing their job. Like they just have to post content, obviously. And like obviously you ratioed them and like this one had some pretty egregious comments. If you scroll far enough down, it's not a good time for anybody in the building, obviously, and they're just doing their job.
who are they to only use lowercase letters? All right. What are we doing here? All right. Have some respect for the English language.
I'm happy that this is your gripe on a Thursday for an 0-5 football team.
My gripe is with many things. This is just added to the long list. Black Gypsy is gifted a membership, folks. Hell to the yeah. He's got a chance to win a Garrett Wilson jersey at the end of the show. All right. This one is from Jets, who says the Fields fans are driving me crazy. They think he's the second coming of Lamar. I try not to complain, but they're crawling out of the woodwork. I have to turn off my notifications because I talked about the garbage time Jets and put out a short on that. And I was getting bombarded with Fields fans, Fields truthers. They're not quite at the level of Zach Wilson truthers, but my God, they're annoying.
Yeah, I saw you had an interaction with a woman that will not be named, or at least it's a woman's account name. And she's found her way into my mentions as well every time I bring up Fields. So that's an unfortunate one. So I blame you fully for that one. Thanks, even if it's not your fault. There's truthers for every quarterback, guys. I mean, to a degree, we were truthers about Aaron Rodgers. You know, you and I saying like, oh, the season's not lost and they can still do something. And we were kicking the dead horse and hoping it did something and it didn't do anything. Like I was kind of a Rodgers truther. Certainly not a Zach Wilson truther. But people said he was the second coming of Steve Young. So you'll find that with quarterbacks specifically, there's going to be a wide variety of takes about them. Like somebody just said he's ass. Like, of course, somebody's going to say he's, trash. Somebody's going to say he's a Ring of Honor member. Maybe an esteemed as maniac might say that. So there's going to be a wider range of quarterback takes, and everybody's got them. And quite like assholes, they all stink.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's Dylan Tereman. My name is Jake Asman. I have posted the Gusbuster Umbrella hotline link in the comment section. It is pinned to the top of the chat. So if you want to call into the show and get your voice heard, now is the time to do so. We head to the barber shop first today, where Carlos the Barber is standing by. Hello, Los.
What's going on, fellas?
Los.
What's up?
Before I get into this Jet talk, I got a lot to say about the Jets, but I'm not going to say a lot, but I got a lot to say. But right now I'm hooking up this man with that J.G. Wentworth 2.0.
Look at that. What a cut.
Now.
Fantastic.
Now, to the Jets. We better get it together and get it together quick. Because if we don't, it's going to get ugly. It's already ugly, but it's going to get uglier.
Hard to imagine uglier.
How about a no-win season? That would be.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's hard to imagine uglier, but I know that there is uglier to go still.
Right. Now, I was real big on us throwing the money at Sauce Gardner, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little worried and concerned about his play lately. And it's just something. Somebody said something on one of these sports channels. I forget who it was, but they said they were comparing the difference. And I know it's unfair to compare Revis and all that kind of stuff, but he is the cornerback, and we are a Jet fan, so we're going to do some comparison. Sauce Gardner just doesn't have that impact to change the game or the impact to win a game for us. You know what I'm saying? Like Revis did. And that's concerning to me. And when we look at cornerbacks and let's forget about team play right now. Let's just go individual play. This Sunday, he's about to face Surtain. And if he doesn't outplay Surtain Sunday, you know there's going to be a lot of talk, people saying they gave Sauce Gardner all that money and he's still not better than Patrick Surtain. So we need a big game. We need something from Sauce. We need something. Interception, fumble, something. We need him to do something. I don't know what's your take on that, guys, but
Carlos, appreciate you. Enjoy the haircut, my friend. Well done. Well, look, Surtain's been a better player than Sauce. He was the defensive player of the year last year, and he got paid before Sauce, and Sauce was the next guy up after Stingley got paid, after Surtain got paid. So, like, the contract stuff, that's not what I'm looking at. I do agree, though, Sauce needs to be able to make more plays. His coverage has been fine for most of the year. I know he's been beat on these long touchdowns. He was supposed to have safety help on the Pickens play. Plus, by the way, if you watch like Baldy's breakdown on it, you know, Pickens is doing way worse than what Garrett Wilson was called for in that Dolphins game. But I digress. But we need more from Sauce. No one should be making excuses for a guy who did get that contract. He's got to make more plays. I think that's fair. Comparing him to Revis, though, Revis to me is the best all time. So I'm not going to go there. But I think it's fair to expect to get more from Sauce than what we have seen so far.
Yeah, it's fair to say that about just about anybody on defense. That
Will McDonald as well. Quinnen Williams. Yeah. Like, your best players got to play better.
Yeah, regardless of what your contract is or how much percentage of the cap your contract it consumes, you have to look at almost every individual player on there and say they have to do better. Sauce, obviously, he's had his moments. Week 1, I thought he did well. He was probably one of the only people tackling against Dallas. And, you know, maybe Sauce of the years past never did that play on the Devon Achane flip for the touchdown where Tony Adams egregiously missed the tackle. Sauce goes like basically head first, like not perfect form, but he gets his body in there to take out the lead blocker. So Tony Adams has a free lane to Devon Achane and Tony Adams just let him down. So like, I think Sauce, for his shortcomings in coverage this year, he stepped up from a tackling perspective. And I feel like that's kind of the overcorrection that this defense has made, like Quinnen as well. They focus so much on his run-stopping ability that the pass rush has kind of taken a hit for that. And just like Sauce, they've focused on the tackling and being aggressive in run fits, and now the coverage is lapsing. So I think Sauce deserves to, you know, some credit in some aspects, but the overall is Sauce needs to play better, and every single person on that defense team needs to play better.
Comments, questions, super chats, they will cut the line. Let's get to more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to say hello to Dylan's favorite caller, the Beast.
Hola, amigos. ¿Cómo está?
Hello, Beast.
My phone is in the shop.
You mean it's at the phone store?
No. At the shop. It's under construction.
You mean it's being repaired?
Yep. It has to be repaired. A new battery has to be put in because the battery went flat shot.
Gator, I need a drop of that.
Sunday, we have to play fast. That means first quarter, go. Don't knock them out right away. Just give them a punch to the brain. At least first to fourth round. Then get to the second quarter, 5th to 8th round. Let them come at you. You know the old saying: stick and move, stick and move, stick, move, stick, move. And then once third quarter gets, you gotta get physical and start playing your kind of football. Smash mouth, knock it in their teeth, and bust their freaking brains in half. And leave them flat. Once the fourth quarter comes, the 15th round, this is where it gets pinnacle. That means it's time to get down and dirty and finish the job. Like Mick would tell Rock. I remember what Mick once said. Come on, Rock. This is 15, Rock. Come on. Knock him out. Knock his block off.
Now, Beast, you are aware there's a football game, right? Not a boxing match?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is once fourth quarter hits, it's like the 15th round. You gotta go for the knockout.
Okay.
Go for the finish.
But-
Go for it.
But Beast, I understand, and I like your attack for the offensive side of this fight. I love the stick and move stuff, right? But what happens if the Jets themselves suffer one punch to the gut and all of a sudden they're down on the mat? Because that's what seems to happen. What happens then? Because we can throw as many punches as we want, but if it takes one to knock us down, okay. I tried.
Yeah, you might as well get a bag and it says, "We suck. We suck the big almighty cheese." Woo! Yeah.
Now, Beast, what's the deal with your phone? When's it going to be fixed?
Well, I got the guy already gave me the update. He told me to come in tomorrow, see if he has the part. And then on Saturday, he should have that part in and he'll have it put in within the next 24 to 48 hours. So that should be a no-brainer.
All right. Now, Beast, here's the question for you. You're a big food guy. This is a 9:30 a.m. kickoff for us on the East Coast. For you, it's 8:30 in the morning because you're based in Illinois.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing? What's the Beast food spread looking like for this?
Well, yeah, since it's a typical sunny day, why not a bowl of Reese's cereal? A bowl of Reese's cereal, that's a perfect way to go. And then maybe later, how about a round of good old fashioned Italian chicken cacciatore? Good Italian chicken cacciatore. That's good stuff, my friend. That's Italian fried chicken with the fettuccine noodles and a little bit of garlic bread to go with it. Oh yeah. I got gas right now.
Oh, yeah, that is going to be quite the spread for Beast.
I don't know. That's a lot of food to eat before noon on a Sunday. I was with them with the bowl of Reese's, but like then I got lost. Like that's a dinner for sure, but like right after a game, that's heavy. And that's chicken and pasta. So I thought we were talking to Gary at first, stick and move, and then he comes out with a chicken and pasta take and then just pulls the mask off over his head, and it's actually Beast, not Gary.
More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say hello to the hamburger who's next. Hello, Mr. Burger.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah, it's hanging in there. Yeah, I got my rant out yesterday, so I got that off my chest, and I don't care that much anymore. So your honest opinion. I mean, where I see this weekend going, and to be brutally honest, I think it's going to be worse than what we've had so far. I think we're going to get embarrassed in London. I'd like to hope that we would win, but I have a bad feeling that this is not going to be well for us. I don't know, man. I'm going to get up nice and early. I'm up anyway, but I got no F1 on this weekend, so at least it doesn't interfere with some of my happy time. But I don't know. What's your take on this weekend? Your honest opinion, like BS aside, do you feel that we're going to actually pull out a win, or do you feel embarrassment on the horizon?
I think they lose by 2 scores.
Right now I'm saying 31-13.
31-13. I would agree. I think 31-13 for me, close in that ballpark. I don't even think it's close. I think the penalties are still going to be a problem. I think missed tackles are going to be a huge issue. I think we might come out strong for at least, the first drive or two. But the minute we have a mistake and a turnover, anything like that, the game's over. The win's going to be taken out of this team, and they're just going to die there in London. And I think if they come out and they get their asses kicked, I think Wilkes gets fired. I think somebody's got to be let go. Somebody's got to be held responsible for being 0-6. So
yeah, they might not fire him, but they'll definitely probably say that they're taking over play calling duties to Aaron Glenn or shifting them to somebody else situationally or doing something. There will be a coaching staff shakeup, I feel like, because Woody always gets embarrassed in London around his peers. And when he got laughed out of the
agree.
press box last year, that was the end of Robert Saleh. So,
yeah, I would agree. I think it would be more than just taking his play calling ability away. I think they need to make a statement if they're 0-6 because the fan base is going to be way more irate than it is now. It's just every week it's going to compound. Every week there's going to be more people for calling for, everybody's head, and at least they have to give them something. They're going to have to give them a head or two. I mean,
well, as somebody who wants AG back, I would not fire Wilkes outright and just say you're stripping him of his play calling duties, because if it doesn't get better, it's going to just all fall on AG for the last 11 games of the season. And I just don't want it to get worse, or like look the same. And then now AG comes under fire. So it opens up a can of worms. And once you start firing, you really don't stop firing, it seems for this team. So,
I mean, I kind of disagree with that. Like, if it's all on AG, like, listen, he's the head coach. He's the guy that was the defensive guy. He should be able to step in and if they get rid of Wilkes, put somebody else that's in charge, but have him calling the plays. Like, from what we've all seen right now, Wilkes isn't doing diddly squat with this team. They are the worst defense that I have seen. I've been watching this team for 42 plus years, and I have never seen a defense that I can remember. I mean, 40 years of watching Jet football is a long time of pain that I've tried to forget a lot of it. But I mean, if somebody's going to have to go, and I'm sorry, I don't want to, I'm not saving Glenn, sparing him anything. Listen, this is your first year and the team looks like trash on all fronts. Every single front you look at this team, there's not one bright spot other than like one or two players. And that's from time to time. Everybody looks like crap like half the time. So, I don't really cut him much slack. I didn't want him in the first place. I wanted to give him a chance. Yeah. But this is everything that's playing out right now is exactly what I thought would happen. Here's a guy learning on the job with a franchise that is in dire straits, that the players haven't won in years, that, you got brand new GM, brand new coaches, brand new everybody. And here we are with a franchise that is like on fire. They are legitimately a dumpster fire going down the street. And I'm sorry. I'm not a buyer into Glenn right now. And like I said yesterday, I'm all for, like, if he comes back and shows that he can be a competent head coach and changes like the little things, man. We're not asking for a lot. Like, no penalties, not dumb mistakes, holding people accountable. Yeah. I mean, these are the things that us fans are looking for. And I have seen zero of it. So until I start seeing some things, I don't even care that we don't win. If you put a product on the field like week 1, I'm all good. Give me that moral victory right now, because at least you see that he's competent. Right now, I see nothing. So it's only gotten worse.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the super chat, but somebody said that 10-9, and we talked about 10-9 against the Broncos last year, and it's like I would take that. I would take that right now, because then it shows your defense is actually worth a damn for one game at least. So yeah, we'll probably never see complimentary football from this team the way it's going, but I just want to see at least the offense or the defense show up in some capacity. I would prefer it to be the defense, because I feel like you can overcome some of the problems on offense with a good defense. Sacks, takeaways, those things that we have pretty much zero of. We obviously need to get that going, because that's going to help the entire team. Like, we don't have a short field for Justin Fields to ever play with. And then I go back to the Xavier Gibson fumble, and it's like, yeah, Rodgers had 23 yards to go to take the lead. And you know what they did? They took like 3 plays and did it. And it was very simple for them. Like, why can't that happen to the Jets? Obviously, we know why, but that's what's going to create the biggest spark for this team.
That's what's so pathetic, right? Like, we're not asking for much.
No. Signs of life.
They can't even do that. That's what is just infuriating, I think, to everyone out there. Luis with a super chat. At least we have Garrett Wilson. Damn right we do, which is why we're giving away a Garrett Wilson jersey at the end of the show. So if you want to enter our weekly raffle, why don't you enter yourself in for a Garrett jersey at the end of the show? If you already have a Garrett jersey and you prefer Sauce or Quinnen or a different Jet, we'll make that happen. But Garrett's the guy you want right now. So gift away for your chance to win, like Derek did. He gifted a membership. He's in the raffle for one. Spencer Green says, damn it, Beast. I have destroyed your alliance. Apologize now or else. Beast, are you and Spencer not on good terms still?
No.
You know what he can do? kiss my big ass because he got demoted. Sorry.
Thank you, Beast. All right, let's get to more of your calls now, shall we? Thank you.
I was going to say
Gator.
he's wearing the same shirt, but then I realized that was from the first call.
How good is Gator? Look at that turnaround time.
The only thing faster than you sending out raffle prizes to the Asmaniacs is Gator making a video or sound drop.
Unreal.
Shout out to the GOAT.
Ladies and gentlemen, I also have an announcement. The weekly Asmaniac Power or the monthly Asmaniac Power Rankings for September will be released during the show tomorrow. First show on the day with Fireman Ed. I got to confirm that Ed's good to go tomorrow, but he should be on with us. Either way, the new top 10, the full video production that Gator put together, we will release that during the show tomorrow. On that note, more of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what you're doing and guess.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we hear you. And I
gotcha.
love that quarter zip. What a quarter zip.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a white one too. I might be heading back into the office next year, so I might have to get a couple of quarter zips.
Oh, we need that. Love it.
I'm not too thrilled about it, but I do like the quarter zip.
Okay, no, that's good.
I think 27-20 is probably. I think that they're hopefully they're going to show some pride this week, but there's nothing to show that they can win. I think maybe it'll help us that Glenn has some familiarity with Peyton and some of his patterns. How about a special team play, like a fake or something to kind of even the playing field? We know that we're not very good, and we're desperate for a win. I want to see a lot more going for it. I want to see a lot more taking risks. We have nothing to lose. And as far as Quinnen goes, I don't like to see you got to keep the big man happy. I don't like to see our best player down in the dumps. It's demoralizing. And it's sure it's demoralizing for the entire team. I'm sure that entire team loves that guy. And to what Dylan was saying before, I don't know if you could strip Wilkes of his duties like now, and then what happens? Like, he part ways with him in the offseason, or he's just magically back next year and reassumes the position, because it's so emasculating and it cuts you off at the knees in front of the entire team in a position that's supposed to be an authoritative, leader. And if you do that to him, I think that he's done. Unfortunately, just looking around, all these first-time coaches, I don't really know who would step into that void. It would have to be Glenn himself that would be calling the defense.
Yes.
This is just another. I think we're going to go with bacon and bagels for. It'll be just me and the boy on Sunday morning.
Nice.
And I think that the girls will be out at the soccer tournament, and we'll see what we can make do as bachelors. But I appreciate your time, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Kyle Clifton. I like it.
The first thing he talked about was going for it in certain situations, whether it's a fake or just something to spark the team. Jake, it was the second drive. They started on their own 29-yard line. They got all the way to the Dallas 43-yard line, and they punted on 4th and 5. I don't remember exactly what the third down play call was, but in that situation, what the optics around your team is. How can you say you trust the defense and want to play the field position game and pin the Cowboys inside the 10-yard line? I mean, it was just silly to me. And I didn't notice it until the next drive. I was like, where were they when they punted? And I went back to the play-by-play on ESPN, and I was like, they're at the 43. I know it's 4th and 5, and I believe it was an incomplete pass on 3rd and 5. We know what your bread and butter is. Just run it and get to 4th and 2 or less, and then run it again. This team is in no position to trot out Austin McNamara early on in games when they have a chance to create that momentum, because we know this team needs as much momentum as possible right now, whether it's an offensive spark, defensive spark, special team spark, whatever it is. So I was very displeased by that decision to kick it from the 43.
Be aggressive, man. You're
Yep.
0-5. Your defense can't stop a nosebleed. What is wrong with you? Like, enough said.
Dallas had 2 90-plus yard drives in the game, but they were in the first half. It wasn't like it was like one in the first quarter, one in the fourth quarter. It was right in the first half, both of them. They were like sandwiched between a 3 and out, but it was like ridiculous.
Right.
That's demoralizing. And then the 66-yard run by Javonte Williams, they were giving up. They were running the clock out with a handoff with no timeouts at midfield to just get into halftime. What was it? 10-3 at the time, 17-3 at the time. It was just truly disastrous.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's done it again. Mimosa with a 20 spot. Hit it.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
Whoa, it's raining memberships. A 20 spot. Hey now, Mimosa, you're the best. She might have been thrown out of MetLife Stadium for getting into it with an asshole Cowboy fan. I have the whole story now from Mimosa, by the way, and she's 100% in the right in this situation, by the way. But on that note, we love you, Mimosa. She's in for 20, and the following 20 listeners are now channel members, which means you get a free super chat at the end of the month or every month. You get a badge next to your name that upgrades over time based on how long you've been a channel member. You get members-only videos, priority response, and a whole lot more. Jay Long, Jets. Dylan France, Jet Legend. Aaron Glenn, Win a Damn Game. Daniel Meza, Gilbert Gonzalez. Victory Monday. What's that? Ken from San Diego. Sean Johnson. Judge Jenna. Charles Kim. Donovan Morgan. Charles Gorman, you're a bum. Atlanta Jets fan. Charles Gorman, you're a Colts fan, you loser. Willie D. Brian J. Andrew Kennedy. Charles Gorman, F you. Amir Landon. Taps any button. And one more for good measure. Alan, you are the worst. All right. Some of those names might have been made up. Other ones, 100% real, Dylan. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know about you,
Thank you.
but almost more than a Jets win, I'm rooting for a Colts loss. I need to see how Gorman responds to his new team if they lose this week. I don't even know who they're playing or anything like that, but I'm almost rooting as hard for a Jets win as a Colts loss.
Me too.
You let
Indy
us down,
Jets.
Chuck.
Indy Jets in the house. Fields on pace for 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 turnovers. Everyone signed up for that at the beginning of the season. Fix some mistakes on D, and the team turns. Yeah, but Indy, the numbers are coming in garbage time, so those aren't his true stats. When the game is actually in the balance, the Jets as a team are averaging, outside of week 1, which was the outlier game, 6 points going into the fourth quarter. That includes the Tyrod game, but if you want to just do field starts, it's not much better.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm usually one that doesn't always love to throw blame on quarterbacks. I tried not to do it with Zach until I felt like we were winning in spite of him. I definitely didn't do it with Rodgers, at least not enough. Fields, I'm trying to find a balance in between where I blame him, but I don't blame him. It's a part of, I want him to throw earlier on in football games so that he gains the confidence that I think he needs to play with. Like the Buffalo game, he was out of it from the first pass that he overthrew, and then he fumbled, and everything just kind of spiraled for him confidence-wise then, and then he got hurt. But when he plays with confidence, he stands in the pocket, he finds his second or third read, and I go back to that Steelers game. So I don't know. Is it the injury? Is it the coaching not, we run the ball really well in our opening scripts, and I think Tanner does a great job of, opponent-specific game planning for this offense. But he needs to get Fields going a little bit earlier, because when your quarterback's not in a rhythm or feeling good about his own performance in the second or third quarter of these games, that's where you find all the deficits. I believe Dallas scored 17 points in the second quarter. We're getting killed in the second and third quarter. It's not always the first quarter. So that's when you need your quarterback the most.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you haven't. Make sure you are subscribed. Go over there. Hit that subscribe button. It's closer to Dylan than it is to me. Neil checks in. He says, Denver 3-0. Fields, Taylor, Cook get injured. We find our franchise quarterback, the MVP punter, Austin McNamara, comes in, and gets a garbage touchdown. That's an interesting take.
What is the 3-0 part? I'm confused.
That's the score. The Jets are gonna lose 3-0.
I'll take it. I mean, obviously, I don't take the second part with all three of our quarterbacks getting hurt. Neil, what happened, man? What's in that cigar? You're smoking something funny over there, man.
Neil.
I don't know. I don't know how to take that one, but I'm so tired of it, dude. I've had like 4 people ask me about Brady Cook this week, and I'm ready to just deactivate my Twitter account.
T-Town Jet is in the raffle for 1. Hey now. Good luck, T-Town. You have a chance to win a Garrett jersey at the end of the show. Dana checks in with an Asmaniac super chat. The fertility, not fertility, isn't that? Never mind.
Futility, yeah.
The futility can't last forever, right?
Well, just like fertility, it does not last forever, no.
Although the Jets have been a lot worse than however long pregnancy lasts. What, 9 months?
We've had Irish twins 20 times over at this point. If we're talking about the Jets. Real quick, I looked it up on Sumer Brain, which is slowly becoming one of my favorite football resources. Sumer Brain of Sumer Sports is like a AI for the football world. Through the first 3 quarters of the 2025 season, Justin Fields has completed 67.7% of his passes, 42 of 62, for 456 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions, with an average yards per attempt of 7.4. That's really actually good numbers. Obviously, you need the touchdowns to go way up, and you need the yards to be up a little bit higher. But 67%, 7.4 yards per attempt, those are really good numbers. So I just want to see them use him more in the first few quarters. Like I love running the ball. Like running down Miami's throat was great. And whenever they had the opportunity to pass, Fields also had the option to scramble. Again, great. Getting him out of the pocket, changing his launch point, all great things for Fields. But the quick game, just get it going, get him in a rhythm. He can understand where the pressures are coming from to a degree. And then it slows down their ability to send 5, 6, 7-man pressures against us. So it all works hand in hand. That's why it's chess, not checkers. And for Fields' shortcomings and limitations, I think they're doing the best they can, but there's still so much more meat left on the bone from both sides.
Ladies and gentlemen,
hold on. Bonesy just said garbage time stats. Bonesy, I just read you the first 3 quarters of the game. I get it. They're down points, but it's not the fourth quarter. I took away the whole fourth quarter. So it's not garbage time. The first 2 quarters, you can say garbage time is as soon as kickoff happens for the Jets in most of these games, but like technical garbage time, I took out the whole fourth quarter for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's Dylan Tereman. My name is Jake Asman. More of your calls right now. But first, a comment from New Q. Just remember the video where Charles gave a speech at one of your events. What a phony. Fraud. Absolute fraud. More calls. Derek, the Kansas Jet fan. Hello, Derek.
How we doing, guys? I hope you all are having a good day.
What's up, man?
I just had a couple thoughts on just Justin Fields and the staff in general. I don't know why we can't. It's cool that Justin Fields has 0 interceptions. Why can't Tanner just let him throw the ball down the field? You just said averaging 7.4 yards per attempt. I'm okay with an interception or 2 if you're trying to push the ball downfield. At least I really don't understand that aspect. And we came out against the Dolphins and the Cowboys, and we ran the ball straight down their throat outside the fumble. That's 7-0 in the Dolphins game, and it's 3-0 Jets. I just run the ball, and I don't know why we can't get some more play action going, get Justin a little bit comfortable, maybe a screen or 2 early on, get Garrett out in some space, or Brees. I'd like to do that a little bit more. Secondly, I'm kind of torn between Hamburger and Kyle's thoughts about if we should fire Steve Wilkes or not. It's kind of unacceptable. Last year, the Jets defense was second in the NFL behind only the Philadelphia Eagles in total yards allowed in the regular season. I don't know how that happens. And we got Pickens on the left on a 2-man route, and we got Sauce on an island. That's terrible scheme. That's a terrible play. And Pickens beats him one-on-one to make Sauce look bad just because you have a shit play drawn up. A 2-receiver formation. I'd never have a guy on an island. That's very frustrating.
To be fair, he wasn't on an island. It was cover 4 and the safety rolled down, and he was not supposed to.
He was one-on-one with him all the way to the end zone on that touchdown.
I understand what you're saying, but it was cover 4 and the safety came down. So there were really only 3 high. So there was supposed to be another safety over the top. Sauce was right. And that's how he's supposed to play the coverage, but he's also supposed to be helped at like 20 yards of depth. That safety's supposed to attach with him if he's going that vertical. So I blame Sauce because he lost the rep one-on-one, but he was right that he was supposed to have help over the top.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. I don't know how the defense can go from the second fewest yards in the NFL last year. Like I said, I'm still torn. I don't know if I want to fire Wilkes or not. I'd be okay if they did. I guess we'll find out how embarrassed, if Woody gets embarrassed in London. That being said, there's another stat. I was watching the Pat McAfee show the other day, and they were talking about Dan Campbell's record as a starting head coach for Detroit. 0-10-1 in his first season. And then in his second season, he started 1-6. And then they had that game where they won and they cried. I get it's different rosters, different kind of situations, but I'm not on the fire AG train just quite yet. I think he deserves at least 2 years, even though as frustrated as we all are. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got. Just get some thoughts on that. But
Eric,
I appreciate the time, guys.
You got it. I just think this team is more talented than that initial Campbell team, right? So I got to see more. I don't want to fire Aaron Glenn either, but they go 1-16. He's gone. He should be gone.
Yeah, I'm more of the mindset of I'll let him make 60%, 70% roster of his guys, and I understand he had the chance to do it this year. I still want to see what they can do with another free agency where they have a lot of cap dollars and a full draft again, where they have more of their own scouts in the building and they've kind of tweaked the scouting department to their liking. Obviously, I still think more moves could happen in the scouting department and probably should happen. But I also want to see if they bring in another, not necessarily Rick Spielman, but somebody of that ilk, to be that guy with it. Maybe Rick Spielman's out and somebody else comes in. Right. So I want to see what they do in the scouting department and the front office to kind of accommodate for Muji, because he is a first timer. And obviously there's a lot of things that are new to him, and I don't want to give him a pass, but I also can't just say one off season where we're cleaning up the mess from the last 3 years, really, the Rodgers stuff. It's hard to say, again, I hate going back to Woody, but how much of his influence from a dollars and cents perspective was on this offseason? We doled out 18 one-year contracts. Jamie and Sherwood got the biggest contract at $45 million overall value. And that's an in-house guy that they've seen and they probably were on board with paying, and that made more sense. So you really only had a three-player free agency class in Stevens, Cisco, and Fields, and all of them have not. I mean, Fields has probably lived up to what most people thought he would be, but Cisco's and Stevens have certainly not. So it's a tough situation, but what did we have from Joe Douglas's 2020 draft class to say that he deserved 2021? So but he was taking over.
He was taking over a total rebuild, and we all knew what that was.
Of course. And I think from, again, going back to the very, very beginning.
And Becton looked good as a rookie. Let's not forget that. Mekhi Becton, we felt good about after a year.
AG peacocked a little bit and said that this wasn't going to be a full rebuild. And I think now, a couple games in, he's realizing just how much closer to a full rebuild. And maybe it's not a full rebuild, but it's definitely not just a retooling, right? You can't just add 3 players and run. It's not.
Yeah, but that tells me they don't know how to evaluate their roster, because their plan wasn't to be bad this year, right? They still gave out $100 million in guarantees to Cisco, Sherwood, Stevens, Fields. If they were going to be bad, they could have just had Tyrod Taylor start, signed a cheap backup, and said, hey, we're going to try and be competitive with Tyrod. We like him. And then we're going to get our quarterback if it doesn't work out after that. This pivot now to move the goalpost to.
No, I don't. I don't like.
I'm not saying you.
Yeah,
I'm saying Glenn was given a chance the other day during his presser on Monday when he was asked about, hey, you originally said that you're here to win now. Did you maybe think you were closer to winning? And this is a lot bigger than. And he said, well, coach doesn't want to say they want to win. It's dude. Don't gaslight us.
Yeah,
right?
Rich really gave him a way out. And again, I understand where he's coming from. And publicly, you aren't going to say this team sucks and you're not going to go anywhere and be non-competitive in 2025. But if you just said, hey, look, we're going to evaluate the roster all year, from top to bottom. We're going to evaluate our coaches, see who we have. Like one of my biggest questions this year from a coaching staff perspective was who were the developmental coaches, right? Like, is Aaron Curry a good linebacker coach just because he played linebacker in the league? We have to find out. I personally liked Mike Rutenberg, the old linebackers coach. Marquand Manuel and Tony Oden, our former DBs coaches. Like, I really liked them as developmental players. They got the most out of their guys. What about Chris Harris and Dre Bly? I'm not quite sure that those things are ringing true for those guys too. So yeah, it's definitely a tough situation to be in. I don't know. I feel like 2 years for almost any coach, unless it's like Urban Meyer level bad, and even Gase, like I was not a fan of Gase from the minute he was hired, unless like it's obviously that bad. And I just don't think it's obviously that bad. Like Tanner Engstrand is a good OC hire.
Well, we're only 5 games in though, Dylan.
Of course,
I mean, this could get even uglier on Sunday.
It could.
So that's
it
the problem.
Could. Yeah.
Like the
I
positive.
just don't like it happening now.
You're right. The positive is that there's 12 games left for Aaron Glenn to improve things and show he can coach. The negative is they're off to the worst start in Jets history for any first-time coach with a roster that it's not great, but it's not this bad.
Yeah, and obviously there's the overrating our players. We do that as almost any fan base, but dude, it's that mentality, that here we go again mentality. We have it as fans, Jake. I mean, we sit here and we watch Braylon Allen put the ball on the turf, and we sit here silent. I know you threw things and broke things in your apartment, but after that, you just sit there silently, and you just kind of wait for the final whistle. Like, that's where we're at, and the players shouldn't be in that mindset. Obviously, we know how bad it's been, but, like, they're professionals. They got to get up off the mat at some point. So it's just – It's like the recycling symbol. Like there's always somebody to blame, and like no matter what, the blame is just going to keep going in circles until they find those solutions that Quinnen Williams talked about.
Well, the thing is too, the mixed messaging and like not having a plan really concerns me. If their plan was to be bad this year, which it wasn't, they chose to split up Aaron Rodgers' cap hit over 2 years. They could have taken it all on the chin this year, and it would have signaled this is going to be a step back here. We don't have it, but. Not only did they split up his cap hit, they then didn't allocate as many resources as they should to try and improve the team. And then you could be saying, well, they wanted to see what they had. But we got the training camp this summer. They saw they sucked on the interior, and they made 2 trades for Harrison Phillips and for Jawan Briggs.
Yeah.
So it's like they're half pregnant. Either fix the roster to the best of your ability or play Tyrod, don't give $40 million to Justin Fields, and let's understand what this year is all about. They didn't do that, which concerns me. They thought they had more talent and they were closer to winning than they actually are. Maybe they are actually closer to that if they had a real coaching staff. I don't know.
Right. And again, like I know this sounds like I've only blamed Woody for this whole thing. Last year, dude, around this time, he was saying this is the best roster in NFL in franchise history. Obviously, a lot has changed. But you've said it. There's 8 out of 11 starters on defense back. Like there's a lot of major pieces from this roster still here. So maybe Woody was like, you know what? I think this roster is good enough to compete. I don't want you spending a ton of dollars. Like it's all things that come under the microscope when we're this bad that it's so hard for me to pinpoint specifically player, coaching, ownership. It's all bad. And I feel like until we get more answers, this is the only thing we can do is speculate on who's to blame and what happens if it only gets worse. It's really hard to talk about what happens if it gets better because we need to see evidence that it can get better. So maybe the GM and the head coach were hamstrung this year financially. Maybe they were given the entire reins and they still made all these decisions. We don't know. It's an unfortunate thing. We'll wait for the Athletic article because Diana's probably rubbing her hands like waiting for a report to come out.
I really don't think they were hamstrung. Glenn got to hire the coaches that he wanted. By the way, the fact that they're in London for the week, that costs money to do instead of just flying in real quick, in and out, like they did the previous 2 times. They went there with Saleh in Zach's rookie year and last year.
Who chose to go to London?
What do you mean who chose to go to London?
Woody wants the Jets in London every single year. Obviously, the league is pushing for 16, but there was a report that Woody was like, I want to be the home team for this game. So, like, Woody was
the Jets by rule had to be because they play.
No, I know the league does, but like Woody wanted it to be the Jets home game, and like that, I don't know. I feel like Woody's influence with London is.
But what I'm saying is they flew out on Monday to go to London. They didn't have to do that. That cost more money. I think they had free reign and they just completely misevaluated this team. Like Michael Clemens, they thought they could coach him up. Go back to what Glenn was saying over the summer about Clemens and all the things that he could do for them. Like. It's just I don't think they got a clue, and I hope Glenn does have a clue when he can make corrections here. His job as the head coach is to be someone that could help out all areas of the team that's struggling. Like, that's the job of the head coach. Like, your defense now is struggling. That's your area of expertise. Let's see something. AZ Frankie says, Wilkes hurts us. If Glenn loves the Jets, prove it. I mean, last year, Saleh got fired after a horrific showing in London. If this defense implodes, maybe Steve Wilkes gets Robert Saleh. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're on the let's get Wilkes out of here, you're probably rooting for a defensive embarrassment by the Jets so that Woody, has the public eye watching him. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, Jake. That's going to be the other part too. Like, it sucks when the Jets are in like a standalone window. Like when they had the doubleheader against Miami, it got largely brushed under the rug because there was the other Monday night game. I believe it was the Bengals and somebody else. But like, God, so much bad things happen when everybody's live tweeting about the Jets and things of that nature. I know Woody's probably stayed off Twitter a little bit more this year, but all it takes is one overwhelming day of notifications from the Twitter app, and he might make a decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your super chats. This one is from Kyle Clifton, who joins the Raffle for 2. He says, I hope our guy Charles comes to his senses. Indy's a cow town. If he can make it as a Jet fan here, he can make it as a Jet fan anywhere. It's up to you, Chaz G. Chaz G. Suck it up and stick it out, man. Very disappointed in Charles Gorman, man. Sad. Real sad.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I just don't get it. I truly, why the Colts? Like, there's probably no other affiliation to Colts that he can find other than they're just playing well right now. So, hey, I hope you find happiness, Chuck. There you go. There you go.
AZ writes in, first off season was horrible. Can it be better? Well, it's hard to be worse.
It's possible to be worse. They did do some things that I liked. And I know it's so easy to say, well, Membu was the 7th pick. Anybody could have made that pick. There are so many people, Jake, that would not have made that pick. You know that? Like, there's just so many people that wouldn't have made that pick. Like, it's not that easy. So,
well, Tyler Warren is pretty good, though.
Sure, but then the right tackle, we would be seeing Brady Cook due to injury if we had whoever the right tackle was going to be outside of whoever the second round guy. Ariante Ursary. Sure, let's bring him in. I don't know. There's things that I liked. And to your point about the defensive tackles, like, again, maybe the free agency didn't go the way they wanted, so they were able to offset a couple day 3 assets in next year's draft to pick up guys that they actually like. So, like, I would consider that an extension of the free agency class with Harrison and Juwan Briggs coming over, and they've been largely really good players. The three players on defense that I really have no bad words about are those two and Quinnen. Like, everybody else has kind of made a huge mistake at one point or another that's cost this team. So I don't know. It's tough. It's a mixed bag, and I don't know. It's not glaringly bad to the point where I'm like, I don't trust them. Like, I trust them. I did a video breaking down Dante Moore, the quarterback from Oregon. And if these guys have a top 3 pick, I actually trust it. The infrastructure on the offense is kind of built for a quarterback. You go get a round 2 wide receiver like Carnell Tate from Ohio State, and you have him, Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, a running back in like the 4th round. You have a couple 4th rounders this year.
Or you sign a legit wide receiver.
Of course. Or you can sign a legit wide receiver or sign an actual wide receiver 3 who's going to do like slot duties or whatever it is, right? An upgraded version of Josh Reynolds. And you could turn this whole thing around and be an actual good environment for a rookie, especially with this offensive line. So,
but if your head coach is dog crap,
well, that's the thing.
We don't know that yet. That's what we don't know.
Can the coach show us signs of, hey, I think I can do this whole thing and not just stand up here at the mic and throw some Saleh-isms at you?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Glenn is not Robert Saleh. He would never quote the great Robert.
Could always beat the narrative of same old Jets, but it's not.
But I know this, they're not the same old Jets.
Everyone wants things now. It's the instant coffee age. But at the same time, we're grinding.
Here's what I do know. I know this is an instant coffee league. I know from the media to the fans, everybody expects this, when you just start, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl. But we've all played Legos before.
We'll watch the tape.
Watch the tape.
Watch the tape? Are you kidding me? I would say, hell no. How about you get off your ass and do all.
Thank you, Beast.
Dude,
I
that
bet you
face
love
that
that
Beast
clip.
makes when you cut to Beast right away and he doesn't realize he's on the screen, that face that he makes, I just put it in the chat. That's the face the defense makes when they miss their assignment. Yeah, that face. I don't know what I'm doing on this play. That's exactly the face, Beast. You spot on.
You kind of did the Beast voice there too. I don't know.
Yeah, human from the sneeze face. Yeah, I'm about to sneeze, but like it's not coming out.
Hexen says, I need something to take my mind off Sunday. A chance at that Garrett Wilson jersey should do. Hexen, you are in for 2. Good luck. For those tuning in late, that is the raffle prize today. It's a G5 jersey. Robin writes in, it's a cold brew coffee league. Ask Beast. When it comes to football analysis, there's nobody better.
Are you a coffee guy?
Big coffee guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't like cold coffee, though.
I drink iced coffee year round, so we're the opposites.
Oh, you drink iced coffee no matter what? Yeah.
Doesn't
I only
matter.
do it if I like desperately need to. I'll drink hot coffee in the middle of the summer down here in the South. I don't care. Not a ton, but like at least that 1 cup in the morning.
Derek says, I enjoyed yesterday when Beast was trying to show the Asmaniacs how to form tackle. That was a good tutorial from Beast.
Yeah, between Blewett and his film reviews too, I'm probably like cooked on any all 22 being shown on my shows because Beast kind of took it over. What else is left to say after that one?
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your outstanding calls. JJ is next. So I take back outstanding calls because God knows where this will go. Hello, JJ.
This guy Dylan is the reason that the Jets have sucked for so long. I gotta tell you,
I'm honored to wear that badge.
He literally just came on here and said to us that we gotta wait until AG has 60% or 40, whatever he said, percentage of his guys on the roster in order to analyze them correctly. Is that true or false that you said that?
Yeah, I said I think it's easier to tell if they're doing a better job when they have more of their own guys. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so then why is Mike Vrabel able to win games already? Liam Cohen able to win games already? You look around the league and you see these head coaches that just got in that are already able to win games, and they don't have a majority of their roster guys on the team. I would say that we have a better roster than the Patriots, in my opinion. So what's the difference?
They brought in a lot of outsiders, though. They spent a lot of free agent dollars in New England to bring in guys that they felt were good for their system. So I'm looking at the Jets next year having a top 5 salary cap and kind of mimicking what the Patriots did this year. Obviously, they don't have the quarterback in place like they did May going into their second year, but you can do all those things and have a rookie entering their first year or a different veteran under on the roster.
Don't change the subject. The point being is if first of all, if AG, right, decided that he was good with the players that are on this team and they were good enough to give him a good chance to win this year, and he went into the season with these guys, and now he's not winning with these guys, we can't now just go, oh, well, when he gets his guys, he'll start winning. That's the thought process that keeps us stuck with these head coaches for way longer than we need to be and keeps us as a losing franchise. AG needs to go at the end of this year. If he only wins 2, 3, 4 games, he needs to go. All right. There's a floor here. He has to win at least 7 games for me to want him to come back at the very least. At this point, yes, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you can't start, and then he has to go. That's perfectly fine. You can't start 0-5 and then start. We're talking about that he needs his guys. Let me get this straight, right? Do the Jets have a good roster, or do we have a terrible roster, or do we have an NFL average roster?
I think we have a slightly above NFL roster that has the mentality of a very, very poor NFL roster.
So if our roster is slightly above average, then shouldn't we at least be slightly above 500? Well, we played 5 games, so if you give me 3-2, I would be happy with that, right? Yeah. I would be happy with that.
I projected them to start 2-4. That was what I had.
Okay. Even if we were 2-4, right? I can build off that. You can't give me 0-5 and every single team in the league has won at least 1 game. Everybody has won one game but the Jets. Listen, you guys can talk all the crap that you want about Charles Gorman. I'm following Charles Gorman this year, right? I'm going to be a fan of the Miami Dolphins, of the New Orleans Saints, the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns, all those 1-4 teams. I'm going to be a fan of, I forgot the Raiders. All those 1-4 teams, I'm taking a page out of Charles Gorman book, and I'm going to root like hell for them to keep winning because I don't see the Jets winning that many football games. So it's in our best interest to root for these teams so we can at least get the number 1 pick out of this. Get the number 1 pick and then bring in Mike McCarthy and let him take over this franchise and bring us 11 to 12 wins every year going forward. I know you guys don't want to talk about head coaches switches, but if we lose this game to Denver, which we probably will, if we lose this game to Denver and we start the season at 0-6, there's nothing that you guys can sell me on to make me believe that this guy is a competent head coach. The one thing that I can say about Robert Saleh is he at least made the bad players on this team somewhat look decent, right? He was able to get some of these players to fool us and make us think, oh, they can be, some NFL players. He coached up. I'm not seeing Aaron Glenn coach up right now. I'm seeing him coach down. And for you to sit here and say we have the mentality of a below average roster, well, where does the mentality come from? It comes from the head coach. Don't tell me about Robert Saleh last year. All right, he's not here no more. It's not his fault. Okay, and now I'm,
hold on. Let me push back. We've let you talk for 3 minutes. Let me push back. If you are a gardener, okay, and your soil is rotten to the core, it is contaminated with bacteria, okay, you can pull up all the plants that you want, and if you put seeds back into that soil, nothing is going to grow. I'm not excusing.
So why were the Texans?
I'm not excusing any of this. Is why I don't do call-ins, Jake. I'm not excusing any of the coaching staff for what is going on, but the fact that they've only had 18 one-year contracts, what does that tell me? They don't trust the guys that they necessarily brought in to be long-term futures of this team. They're going to implement their own roster. By next year, there's going to be 55+% of guys that these two, Muji and Glenn, have brought in. Then I think it's more fair to throw these criticisms at them if they start 0-5 next year. This roster, we've very much overrated this roster. I said slightly above average in a league-wide basis. That is not the case. That might have been the case in August. That is not the case 5 weeks into the season. This is a very below-average roster across the board. So
I think it's average. I don't think it's as bad as you make it, Dylan. I think I think the coaching has made some of these players we were expecting more from worse. And I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a hand-in-hand thing. There's offensive players that are performing much better than they did last year on this team. There are defensive players that are performing way worse than they did last year on this team. I'm not exactly sure where the gray area falls in, but it feels like inside that gray area is what we're arguing about, and that's like the least of the concerns.
No, see, where my argument stems from is that what we're seeing from the players on the field, regardless of if they're great players, bad players, whatever, what I'm seeing from them are they're making mental mistakes. They're making mental mistakes. You just talked about Sauce Gardner and it was cover 4 and the safety was supposed to do this and he didn't do. That's a mental mistake. So if you're seeing mental mistakes constantly, it's not really necessarily about the athleticism of the player. It's about his mental not being mentally prepared to do the things that he's supposed to do. So whose job is it to get these guys
mentality on this team?
But you can't say very below average mentality on the team when you have potential first round trade potential out of these guys. What I mean by that is Quinnen Williams can go get you a first round pick if we try to trade him. Breece Hall could probably get you a second round pick if you try to trade him. Garrett Wilson, all these guys are superstars on other teams. So I get what you're saying when you're trying to say, okay, well, Robert Saleh, he spoiled them and he ruined them. But even when Robert Saleh was here, the team performed better. So whether they had a losing mentality or not, the output was still better than what I'm seeing now. And he's no longer here. I think Robert Saleh wasn't a good head coach. What I can say about him is he was a good defensive coordinator and he got his team to play up to par. What we can take away from Aaron Glenn, and as Boomtown mentioned, he was, one of my number one choices coming in. He was never a great defensive coordinator. We never looked at the Lions defense and said, oh my God, the Lions defense are amazing. What we did say is the Lions defense has injuries all over the place and they're still playing well. Well, now there's not really many injuries on our defense, and our defense is playing terrible. What is it? 8
There's
out
not
of
a lot
11 starters are
injuries.
back.
Hold on. Yeah, 8 out of 11 starters started this season, but we had 3 backups on defensive line, 2 backup linebackers playing. We're already on our 3rd safety, a backup nickel. Like there's like 5 or 6 injuries on this defense where there's not a starter
What's
playing
the core?
already.
What's the core of the defense? Quinnen Williams, Jamie and Sherwood, Sauce Gardner, and then now you got to put in
I would say Quincy
what's his
over
name?
Sherwood, but yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll agree to disagree with you. I think Sherwood is the mic. He's the mic, and he's the one who calls out the
He
defense.
wasn't the
Quincy
green dot
Williams,
when Quincy was the green dot before he got hurt.
got you. So I stand corrected.
They took it from Sherwood and gave it to Quincy. So what does that tell me? They're not ready.
Well,
They're not ready on Sherwood.
I could have sworn. I could have sworn last year wasn't he playing? I could be wrong.
Yeah, and
I thought last year
our defense couldn't communicate for shit because number 57 wasn't on the field. Who's the real green dot?
But the point
Sherwood
is,
not ready to be that guy though. I understand.
Okay, so then why did they? So that, but why did we? But then why did we? Why did we pay him? And you guys can tell me that other teams would have paid him. Well, the other teams would have been wrong too. So why did we pay this guy if he's not ready to play? I don't get it, because on one hand we're saying,
I'm not excusing it.
Well, on one hand, we're saying that Muji and Aaron Glenn have to get their guys, but on the other hand, we're saying, oh yeah, they thought they can win with the team that they have now, and they were wrong. So the one time I do agree with,
I don't appreciate them peacocking and saying that they're going to get the best out of all these players and not doing it. But I also think that there's reasonable chance. I said 20 games for any coach that was hired. That is 3 games into next year, regardless of how you split it, because this team wasn't making the playoffs regardless. So there's no way I was going to give any coach, unless it was Adam Gase level bad, and I just don't see it as Adam Gase level bad.
Not yet.
Well,
I think everybody's assuming that the next 12 games are going to look exactly like the first 5. I'm operating under. Maybe not you specifically, but it seems like a lot of the chat and a lot of the callers are assuming that we're winning 1 game, we're winning 2 games. Like they've already determined it in their head. Like I'm waiting to see. I will do the whole talk, and I'm not going to say he deserves to be back if they lose 15 games. If they're 2-15, yeah, that's a real conversation for me to have. I'm not going to defend him. I think he deserves 20 games.
He needs more time, JJ. You gotta. I know you're out on him already.
Yes.
He gets the year. He gets the season. He gets.
He gets the year. But to say we need 20 games, we don't need 20 games. You get 17. Show me something in the 17. 17 is a lot of football. 17 is a lot of football. All right, guys. Dylan, great chat with you. Jake, as always, a pleasure. You guys have a great night. I'm actually headed to London. I'm trying to get to the airport, but there's a lot of traffic. But I'm heading there. I'm gonna go waste my time and watch this team play. So wish me luck, guys. Hopefully we get a win, and see you guys.
JJ, hang in there. If you want to meet up with Asmaniacs, check the Discord. All right, you'll have fun. I went last year; it was a blast till the game.
Yeah, I love London. I've been there once before, not for a Jets game. This is my first time going out for a game. So we'll see how the atmosphere is in Tottenham. I can't even say it. Tottenham Spurs.
They're rowdy
Stadium,
over there. They love their American football. It's crazy.
And that stadium is sick, JJ. So you'll have a great time. That is a sick stadium. It really is.
I'm glad JJ's internet quality decided to hold up throughout the entirety of that, because that was a good back and forth. That was a good back and forth with JJ.
Yeah, I think a year is enough if it's as bad as what JJ thinks it's going to be. That's
the reason I say 20 is because that allows you to get that whole other free agency and draft period. Like, again, I'm not ready to write off just because they have one bad season. I get it. There's a lot of things wrong right now, and they overestimated or wrongly evaluated quite a few things. But there's also a lot that I feel like if you brought a rookie quarterback in, it wouldn't be the end of the world. If you swap DCs on this team, I feel like a lot of things could change. That's what it comes down to.
That's on the head coach then to recognize that.
100%.
Let's see if there's adjustments there. Let's see. Spencer Green in the raffle for 2 more. And the most clueless call of the day goes to JJ. I love it. JJ was, I thought that was good. I think he's crazy just being like, it's a foregone conclusion that Glenn can't, show anything, but let him, he might be right.
And wanting to see 7 wins, I understand, like from a
that's too strong.
We all want to see 7 wins. Of course, that was my original season prediction, but Now I'm at 5-11. And like, if they get 4 wins and they have a 5th loss, or that 5th win doesn't necessarily come, that's tough. I'm at 5. Like, you have to show on surface the record is the same as last year.
So for the
That's
Jets
where
to
I'm
get to 7-10, they need to win 7 of the remaining 12 games. So they would need to go 7-5 the rest of the way.
Well, you know what's hilarious too, Jake, is like before when we did the whole like early season prediction, everybody wrote off the Ravens game as a loss. And I understand Lamar could come back and be fine for that game and still kill us. And then we looked at the Jaguars as like, that's going to be such a winnable game. And now the Jaguars are 4-1 and the Ravens are 1-4. And the Ravens look like the easier path to find a victory for this team, which is just hilarious.
Mike Perez says, my favorite tag team, DT, you sold me on Dante Moore. Good watch. I wouldn't mind drafting a quarterback and having Engstrand mold him into what he truly wants to do with this offense. Well, that's why the Jets got to show enough progress. So if you like Engstrand, he actually could get a chance to work with a young quarterback. AZ Frankie says, a popular Panthers podcast packed it up after 6 years. Try being a Jets fan. People who bail on their team are weak. Fair weather fans suck. Bye, Charles. Yep, I'm here to tell you that the Jake Asman show, despite the Jets being inept, is going nowhere. We are here to stay. Unlike the Paulcast, whatever the Fakakta podcast was called. I don't even know.
Come on, we're built for this shit, Jake. Come on.
Yeah.
I just got cooked by JJ according to the chat. Like we're built for this. We're not going to let an 0-5 start stop us. You were doing podcasts for the Jets in 2020, right? Just not every day.
No, I started doing 2020 I was doing my radio show at the time on SB Nation Radio, and I would be just hammering the Jets. It was a national show, and I would podcast some of the segments on the YouTube channel, and the only ones that got any views were the Jet segments. So I'm like, there's something here. That kind of led to doing a daily show when they started, once they hired Saleh, and that's kind of how it began. But yeah, me unloading on Gase every day during the 2020 season, that was when the show started to become like in its early stages.
Doing weekly podcasts, we had it was a trio of us hosts at Jet Nation. It was Glenn, Alex, and myself. Oh my gosh, dude, that was rough every single week. Like, you didn't want to call in and do the whole show. Like, I still want to do the show. Like, I'm still cool. Like, that's how I know it's not that bad for me yet. Like, we saw 2020 bad. Like, to me, it's just not that bad yet. Obviously, there's a lot that can still happen, but we'll see. Yeah, this guy.
Our podcast is continuing despite the team struggles. The opposite of those Panthers, those whatever the hell their name is. Let's see. Spencer Green says, Dog, you said Fields was some legend in the making. You don't know ball, dog. This in reference to JJ, who said before the year that Justin Fields is on his way to the Jets Ring of Honor.
See, we all have bad takes. Obviously, it sucks when the coaches have misevaluations, but we're all not perfect, and that's why JJ and I don't get paid by the team.
But if you did, you guys would be more accurate than the team. Let's be real.
Okay, yeah, but like Jake, you're sponsored by FanDuel, right? You could go on and find odds. Allen says negative thing about Jets. -500, it comes true because it's the Jets, right? Like, that's just how it is. Like, you say negative things about the Jets, you're able to victory lap it in 2.5 months because it's probably closer to being true than the guys that, like Charleston Jets Rubin. I'm not picking on him by any means. He was going off about like Fields projection numbers and having almost 4,000 total yards. And, like that stuff gets laughed at now because we're an abomination, but it's like, if you say anything negative about this team, it's probably going to come true.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your outstanding calls. Let's say hello to Philly Noodles.
Oh, what up, guys? How you doing? What's up? First off, my cousin from another oven. What's going on?
Oh, shit.
Every time you guys are together here, I got to say something weird. You know what I mean? We get one.
that was a weird one.
Yeah, call me a freaky down. One of them. Hey, JJ, I understand the takes. He can't help it. He's like such a it's like good combative pessimism. It's like where you can like kind of tailor him to be a little bit happier. You can get him. You can like reel him in, but then he'll still say something negative. He can't help it. He's got to do it. Honestly, how the hell did Ulbrich shit the bed the first season as a coordinator and nobody screamed hell the next, that it's the same shit. Like, he sucked. The Jets defense sucked the first season. and then it picked up the next season.
Yeah, well,
they got
called
more
for his
talent
head.
though.
They called
I
for his
understand
head,
that.
and then Quinnen yelled at Aaron Whitecotton, if I'm remembering these things correctly. And then Saleh took over some of the situational play calling duty.
Correct.
That was in year 2. That was the 2022 season.
Yeah,
That was 2022. That
part
happened. Okay.
Yeah,
But we were
But, I
calling
mean-
for Ulbrich at that point, which I understand it was, early on in year 2, but
Jake, there's injury, you know what I mean? And it happens every season. I can't excuse that for what's going on out there. But then you're also learning that
That's what
these
Glenn
guys
did
are-
last year with the Lions, though. They don't have a turnover yet. It's not just that they're bad, Philly. Like, I understood the defense was not going to be as good as it was when they had an elite D-line and they had Sauce and DJ Reed playing at all pro levels, or Sauce was and Reed was playing really well. Like, I understood that. They shouldn't be this bad. There's a real problem when it looks like this, and you don't have a turnover yet. That is alarming. I don't think people realize that. Like, that is a big deal, and people around the league are noticing. Like Brian Baldinger's comments that I played on the show yesterday. Like, that is a real thing that is on the head coach. Like, that is a real indictment of this coach, the lack of turnovers. Because compare it to Jacksonville. They got a first-time defensive coordinator. They're one of the worst in the league at turnovers. Now they're one of the best. What changed? Coaching.
Yeah, I mean, we can't deny it 100% now. It's almost impossible. But I mean, then fundamentals, but in this system. So I mean, marrying two systems, I think is what's throwing everything off. Fact that Quinnen finally came out, Quinnen was pissed at the beginning of the season. Like, we also always forget that, right? Like he was like, not another damn rebuild. And they said, hey, calm down, youngin. He said, okay, I'll be calm. They threw a C on his chest, and he's like, oh, okay. Now he's
that's not the only reason he calmed down.
I mean, I get it, but I don't know. There's something to it.
He's bought in. He said this is the hardest he's worked since Alabama. So like when he says stuff like that, I actually feel like that's a good sign of this coaching staff. Maybe it's not a direct inflection of Wilkes, but that's of AG, right? I feel like that's a positive remark about AG.
That's true, but then we could also take Jake's take on it, which is we had a really good practice this week. Practice didn't. I mean, you can. I don't know. I don't know what it is, what the disconnect is, but maybe dumbing the system down, right? Who cares? Just dumb it down even more,
or don't practice.
Or Jake, don't practice. Literally, it might be the best thing that happens to them. Go get hammered. Go eat some fucking pork and beans. Do whatever nasty shit they do in England.
Chips.
Bless them over fish and chips are good. Whatever they do with beans, I heard is nasty. Fish and chips are hot. You can fry some fish and make it good.
Breakfast beans? You're not a breakfast bean guy, Philly?
Come on, man. No.
Beans with your morning toast? Come on.
Give me some grits. I love eggs, bro. Brunch is my shit. I will fight someone for brunch. But I'm not going beans.
Hey, what are you having at 9:30 on Sunday, Philly Noodles?
Oh, that's a good question. I have a bag of bagels still from Jersey. We froze some of them. Those probably got to go. But I needed some bagels from up north. I couldn't. Being down here, there's a couple places that make decent bagels, but it's not the same. So,
dude, it's so hard to find a place with like real authentic bagels down here, dude. It's so hard.
Yeah, you gotta I don't know, man.
Hey, once you find the spot, that is your spot. Like, there's one pizza spot, there's one bagel spot, there's one hoagie spot. Like, that's it. That's how it goes.
Hey, what kind of bangles? Beast wants to know.
Oh, we have I got a couple French toast in there, blueberry for my girl. I got everything for myself and onion. And Beast, you know what I'm saying? Well, Beast, what's that face? Don't say pumpernickel. I'll throw my phone out the window.
Oh hell no! Fuck that! I hate pumpernickel. That's nasty.
Yeah, we're not getting healthy out here, bro.
Over pumpernickel bread.
How about Parmesan? Parmesan bagel, my friend. Parmesan.
You gabagooling over there. Gabagooling.
Come on, Dylan, you go to Costco all the time. You got the Parmesan.
I've never once eaten a Parmesan bagel. Asiago bagel, but never a Parmesan bagel.
Wait. Beast, are you dipping that in? Are you dipping that in sauce or something? Your grandmother's gravy? What's going on there, bro?
Hey! Go to Costco and look for the Parmesan bagels. They got them there.
Costco. Oh, you're fired, bro. I love you, dude, but you're fired. You just fired yourself live on air.
Philly,
bagels, you're fired.
Good call, Philly. Appreciate you. Enjoy your bagels.
I'll see you next week, cuzzo.
I'm going to play the Baldy cut for those who missed it. This is what I'm referring to when I reference those comments.
Any concerns that Aaron Glenn might be overmatched?
If you watched the game last night, and I know you did, Jacksonville had the fewest takeaways in the NFL a year ago. They were dreadful. Liam Cohen comes in, new offense, new defense coordinator, Anthony Campanile. They got 14 takeaways in the biggest one of the season on the interception return. The guy Devin Lloyd's been in this league now for a while. He leads the league in interceptions. Something like if you want to turn things around, take the ball away. And the Jets don't have a takeaway. Like they don't even get their hands on footballs. So, is he overmatched? I don't know. If you want to get competitive, figure out a way to take the ball away. Now that starts in practice, punching it out, all the different drills that you can do. And they're not doing any of that right now on the field. That's an indictment on a coach.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know how many fans are sitting there and watching all these games of the Jets. They can't run a play without a mistake. And some of this stuff is just stupid. Like without a pre-snap penalty, without somebody falling down, without the ball getting on the ground. Like they can't run a play without an error. Like what are they doing during the week? That is all comes under the head coach.
Baldy gets paid by the Jets, by the way. So for him to be that critical 5 games in, it's alarming to me, dude. Dylan, it's bad right now, man. Glenn's got to be a lot better. Otherwise, the one and done talk's not going to stop.
When he said it's just stupid, I felt that. I felt that, Baldy, down to my core. It is just stupid. I said it, I think, last week or maybe the week before, Jake. I can't remember. I think it was after Miami. I said the defense gets into the huddle. They have straws. They all pull them, and whoever has the short straw has to mess up egregiously bad on that next play. And it feels like Tony Adams gets the short straw 65% of the time. And it's unfortunate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will get to your remaining calls. But first, a super chat from Terry T. Terry says, Jake, AG isn't showing any signs of both offensive and defensive in-game adjustments. It's his responsibility to get all adjustments made. Yeah, I mean, look, it's on the head coach. They don't have a win. I agree, Terry. Big fella says, why aren't we bringing Drake Jackson or Traylon Burks in for workouts? Address 2 needs. Dylan, your thoughts on either player?
They brought in or are supposed to bring in Drake Jackson. I think they did bring him in for the workout. He wasn't signed by, I believe, the Ravens and Commanders, who are other teams looking to work him out. So he's an edge player from USC, 6 career sacks. He's been hurt since November of 2023 with a torn patellar tendon. So he's been on the IR list. But I was a proponent of signing anybody at edge. Drake Jackson would be fine at this point. And Traylon Burks, I'm not sure. I wasn't a fan of his in the draft process. I feel like he's done nothing but underwhelmed. And what you're hoping for is like the biggest Quentin Johnston, resurgence out of Traylon Burks. And I don't see it with him. I understand like the thought process of getting a wide receiver in here, but I'd rather just call up Brandon Smith or Quentin Skinner at that rate. But Drake Jackson, yeah, I'm on board. Get me an edge. Get me defensive line help, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from the guy I went to Yankee Stadium with and was on the Jumbotron last night, Lou B. Guys, what are the top 5 college QBs to watch? Dylan, you just did a whole video breakdown on Dante Moore, the Oregon QB. Besides him, give us the other guys that you think Jet fans should be paying the most attention to, as we unfortunately have to do this on October 9th.
Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen it by now, Dylan Tereman on YouTube, my channel. I have some breakdowns, some from the summertime, so it's 2024 film, some from this year, more up-to-date film. But I put it in the chat for Lou. Lenora, in no order, Lenora Sellers, South Carolina, Drew Aller, Penn State, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU, John Mateer of Oklahoma, and Dante Moore of Oregon. Right now, those are the 5 that I'm watching. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza of Indiana is another guy that I just haven't gotten to yet, but he plays Oregon this weekend. So as soon as the week 8, all 22 comes out for that game, Indiana and Oregon, I'm going to do both quarterbacks, Mendoza and Moore. So I'll get a double up on Dante Moore. But yeah, right now it's kind of a crapshoot. I mean, I understand it's a crapshoot all the way through the draft process anyway, but 5 weeks ago, the list was completely different. Like Cade Klubnik was in that list, and I feel like he's had a really up and down, mostly down performance, considering obviously Arch Manning was the guy everybody wanted to talk about, and he just has not done it for me. So much to the point where even Trevor Sikkema of PFF took him out of the mock draft simulator because it just is disingenuous to have Arch Manning in the 2026 draft class based on the way he's playing. So a lot of things are subject to change, obviously, Lou. But appreciate you asking. And yeah, my channel has all those quarterbacks that I just named broken down.
Ladies and gentlemen, up next on the Gusbuster Hotline.
Holy shit, look at that beard! He has a beard, he's the man. Ain't no Santa Claus. Papa Jet loves the Jets. He's one handsome son of a bitch. It's Papa Jet.
Hello, guys.
It's good to see your face, Papa. You're not hiding this week. I like it.
Well, I don't think the chat likes Papa It. I don't think they're I don't think they like him, so maybe
I was a fan.
Maybe he comes back someday. Hey, I don't know. I'm probably in the minority here, but my rule is 2 years for coaches, players, GMs, or yeah, there you go. I kind of like them. I don't know, but and I know, and it's definitely some coaching, but I think some of the players got to be blamed here too. But what's upsetting me the most is it's like football 101 stuff that they're not doing. You know, just tackling and like even the penalties. I mean, I guess that's discipline, which probably is coaching, but I don't know what could be done. I mean, how do you get players to stop making, the penalties, especially offsides and false starts? I don't know. Maybe you got to run their balls off in practice. That's what my high school coach did, And guess what? He put down on the penalties because we had to do a 100-yard sprint for each one, But I don't know. And then also too, DT, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass here. This is a serious question. And I know high school is a lot different than the pros, but every play on defense, we always had outside containment. Now I watched Clemens and McCrager. They get sucked inside so often. Now maybe some of the plays, maybe they're stunting inside, but a backer or safety, right, still got to contain the outside. And on some of those play action roll, there is nobody within 20 yards of anybody. And the tight ends, they're wide open. It's just
there's usually a time when they crash down that hard, and I know we've played the Michael Clemens clip like ad nauseum at this point, but there's supposed to be a communication between the end man, the line of scrimmage, and a second level defender of, hey, I'm gonna slant down, I'm gonna crash down, and are we saying hi?
Sorry, yeah, this is my daughter, Crystal.
I just want to see
nice to
all
meet
my
you.
dad's time.
What's that?
I just wanted to see who takes all my dad's time.
Oh,
that'd be
we're
us.
here talking to you. Yeah, that would be us.
He entertains us, to be fair. He gives us moments like this.
Awesome.
I told her about Gary, and she said she wanted to talk with him. I said, I don't know if you want to do that. I told her about
very daring, Crystal.
I told her about the woman not being able to vote, and it pissed her off. She wanted to talk to him, but I don't think so.
He said he'd make me cry, and then I raised my daughter right. She's 11. She said we don't cry over men, and that's so true. So I'd love to meet him sometime.
Your daughter also sounds very smart. Yes.
Next call, maybe it'll be a rumble.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you,
Crystal.
If Gary was on hold, I would play the rumble music and get this thing going, but he's not on hold.
But anyway, sorry about. I don't know what we were talking about.
You're
but
fine. No, the end man, line of scrimmage, and the second level defender, they need to communicate more, because if Michael Clemens is supposed to crash, and I don't think he's being coached to do this, if he's going to crash down 2 or 3 gaps over to the inside and like break on the play action to the running back, there needs to be communication that a second level defender needs to come and fill that space, so that when the quarterback does bootleg, there's a guy in the flat on wearing our jersey, and he's able to tackle the quarterback or at least get in the way of the pass. It felt like even against Miami, we were crashing, and then the second level defenders, at all 2 or 3 of them at whatever time, they just decided to pursue Tua, and nobody stayed back with the crossers. So it's like it's a huge communication error. And obviously, I'm not going to excuse Michael Clemens of blame, but the second level of this defense has been truly awful.
Yeah, it's just it does get frustrating. But and as far as the the 2 fumbles with Brees and Allen there, they definitely were game changers. But those were some pretty good damn plays by the defenders too. I mean, they were good. Perfect punch outs, But before I go, just with this Gorman thing leaving or whatever he's doing, you're either a fan or you're. I would never say I'm going to take a year off and I'm going to be Minnesota fan for a year or whatever. You're either on the train or you're off it, and you don't have to make 4 or 5 videos explaining yourself. If you want out, get out. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. That's how I feel.
Hell yeah. Tell him, Papa. Let's go.
Holy shit, look at that beard. He has a beard, he's the man. Ain't no Santa Claus. Papa Jet loves the jet. He's one handsome son of a bitch. It's Papa Jet.
Now that, my friend, that is a classy call. Nobody gives a shit.
All right. Home stretch. Artie, next. Hello, Artie.
Hey, what's up, guys? Tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow is the big day. We are tying the knot at 3:00.
Wow, did you ever think you'd be getting married before the Jets got a win?
No, Jake, I didn't. Yeah, this team is these lapses of communication should be fixed like in a game. It shouldn't take game after game after game to correct this. I mean, I don't understand why they're all moving one way and leaving the other side of the field wide open for running backs to swing out and tight ends to cross and not. I mean, there aren't people within 15 yards of them. I mean, it's crazy.
It's truly like pathetic style of football. Like and that's the hardest part. Is it the coaching points from Wilkes and AG that are wrong, or is it the messaging not being received by the players? It's whatever that disconnect is, it is clear that something is not working, and you're not that bad on defense by accident, right?
And
like I feel like you have to try to be that bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, these lack of corrections are so bizarre that who knows what the heck it could be. I mean, this is like crazy. This is like equivalent to trading for a guy that immediately holds out, or cutting a Hall of Fame quarterback to bring in, another guy that, I mean, like nobody knows what the heck these guys are even thinking of doing. It's bizarre. Anyway, I might need Beast to be a witness to the ceremony tomorrow. So Beast, I need you to stand by. I might be calling you at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Just want to let you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's check in with the man himself. Beast, can you handle that responsibility?
What does this tell you? Hey, in the words of the great Bill and Ted, you got it, dude.
All right, Beast. Thank you. We'll...
I am not a meatball.
Couldn't even get an original quote to say, yes, I'll be there. Like, come on. In the wise words of Beast, yes, I'll be there, Artie. Like, come on.
Well, this Charles thing also broke my heart. I mean, I don't understand. I hope Charles understands how we feel and that we love Charles, and we're a forgiving group. And if he did the right thing, the chances are we would forgive and forget. But, he broke my heart.
Gorman might be doing irreparable damage to this this fan base here, much like the team is doing. This is I don't know, man. I can't even say I'm shocked by Charles. This almost seems like it's Charles to a core.
He looks terrible in blue too. I mean, he just looks fucking terrible.
Artie, good luck with the wedding.
Congratulations to you and Peg. That's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Peg. Send my best to her as well.
Jet fuel's on me. I promise.
Oh, God. We were having a great time with Peg and Artie in Tampa a few weeks ago. It's a fun weekend.
I blame him. He started it. He bought my first rum and Coke at lunch.
That's where it all began for you, Dylan. Yeah. Your downfall.
That was the downfall of DT.
All right. One more call, and then it's the raffle. If you're tuned in late, we're giving away a Garrett Wilson jersey in the color of your choosing. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to said raffle, let's get up close and personal.
I've got my eye on you. Checkmate me, full screen. It's fireball, whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Now that, my friend.
Psych, it's David T.
Oh,
Hi, guys.
David
Hey, David.
T.
Hey, boy, I got a lot on my mind, but congrats to Peg and Artie. And Dylan, I got a kick out of you talking about doing your wash and reference to your ex-wife. And I have an ex-wife, and she did a nice wash and everything. But my opinion right now is Quentin and Garrett, take on the responsibility. Get nasty. You know what? They're going to be here only so long. They're stars. They want to be superstars. Convey it to the other players. It's like, play some football. We're busting our nuts.
Calm your freaky down.
No, and let's do it. And the Joe Namath references, yesterday you talked about, there was a gentleman that said, when Joe Namath dies, it's going to change or whatever. But I was brought up in Pennsylvania near Philly, and Buddy Ryan was the coach of the Eagles, and he was so funny. But anyway, he the reference was when he was an assistant coach for the Jets. There was threats on Joe Namath's life. So Buddy said, to the players and whoever, don't stand next to Joe.
Well, David, I want you to know this call featured you saying you got to get nasty, and then something else that warranted the calm your freaky drop. So tremendous job out of you.
They got to get nasty now. It's like,
Calm your freaky down.
let's play football. Come on, let's get nasty.
We literally can't even fall on a fumble. I mean, my wife accidentally falls on my dick one time a week, and we can't fall on a fumble?
Holy shit already. Will you stop it with the bad language?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
These calls have been unhinged when the Jets
He's
keep
one
losing.
of one, man. That is truly something funny. Like, at first I thought it was like AI and Bonesy, man.
The Bonesy call?
Yeah, dude, that shit's so funny. But then I'm like, how could you possibly like make that up? And then that'd be like, disrespectful to his wife if you actually made it AI. And then I'm like, no, Bonesy actually said that.
How many times do we have to bust our nuts? That's what David T said.
That's yeah. I don't know. He brought up something about an ex-wife and doing the wash. I don't know. I don't remember bringing up my ex-wife. But
Beast, what do you have to say for yourself? I see you on hold. Yes, Beast?
That's the defensive face.
Beast.
The face of a defense that just let up an 18-yard play action on 3rd and 1.
Beast, we're on the air.
Stop biting your wrist.
There's a show that's happening.
Wipe the drool off your chin.
Beast, let's go. I got to prepare for a Thursday night football game.
Did he smoke something? What is that face? He looks lost.
Beast.
Is he like about to cry?
Beast.
Is he falling asleep?
Everyone, I'm going to sound the alarm. So if you're listening with headphones on, warning.
You turn the noise down. My ears. I have sensitive hearing. I've had that for many years. I did not eat yet. I barely even had a salad yet. How about I just say, maybe it's time to start considering salad.
You're not eating a salad. Stop it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did 3 hours ago. got
You haven't had a
with
salad.
no greens in it.
Come on.
The hell I didn't. I went
What
3
was in your
hours.
salad? What was in your salad?
Chicken and cheese.
What else? What was in the salad? That's not salad.
The hell it ain't. I make my own salads.
What type of lettuce?
Romaine.
What type of dressing?
Thousand Island. Good choice. Now it's Thursday night. I know it's football. I know most of everybody wants to watch football. Don't I mean I'm not going to because I'm gonna be busy playing basketball time. Yeah, B-ball. It's almost time for some basketball season. That's what I'm ready for. And I don't want to, sure, our boys are not looking too good, but I'm ready for basketball and I'm ready for some hockey. I'm ready for some George.
That's baseball.
No, that's hockey too. Anything can happen, but I'm getting really hungry. I'm gonna go downstairs and get me a water, and I don't care what people say on this show because and to Charles, you got some explaining to do to everybody. I mean to everybody. Not only you turned your back on me after what everybody provided you with, $800, and then you turn your back to join the Colts.
You could have had that $800, Beast.
I say that?
Now, Beast, you said that Gorman has some explaining to do. I think you got some explaining to do for us. This apparently was this past Sunday when the Colts were playing the Raiders. This is you and Gorman.
Oh, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Beast, what are you doing?
Whoever is putting this shit up is a bunch of lion sacks of shit. I don't buy it. I will not buy this crap. This is a
I can't believe you're the same height as Gorman. And did you purposefully match him that day?
I've been a Jets
Did you text each other and say we're gonna match today?
Would you be quiet for a goddamn minute?
Oh, you were twinning with Gorman. That's what it was.
Would you let me get my point?
Did you send him an email with 0 punctuation telling him exactly what you're gonna wear?
You don't get it. You really don't get. You know what? This is a bunch of bullshit. Scam, lie. Yeah, it's all it smells like. It smells like a load of scams. Get out of here with that shit. Get out of here. Colts fan.
You look taller than Gorman on camera, though. I thought you were taller than Gorman.
I'm a bit taller than Gorman. Where the hell are you? What part of the planet are you on?
The picture showed you guys were about the same height.
Oh, please. I'm better than Gorman. I'm smarter than Gorman, and I'm 10 times sexier than him. He's just a bumpski.
How does that line still come about? How does this line come about?
I'm 10 times.
You know what? I'm just gonna turn this chat off because it's all loaded with scammers and bots. Scammers and bots. I am buying
everyone's real.
Everyone's real here except for Amanda.
Run! I can't hear you. Say that again.
No.
Whatever. I'm not a Colts fan. I've been a Jet guy almost 27 years. I've been like that since I was 13. So whoever posted that picture is a complete dumbass with the low IQ of cheap toilet paper from Dollar Tree. That's a goddamn guarantee. You can put it in writing. That's a goddamn fact.
Beast.
A fact.
Well said.
Yeah, it is.
What a call. What a show. This one has flown by.
It's always fun.
Let's do the raffle, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, a Garrett Wilson jersey is about to be raffled away right now.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Before we do the raffle, hit the music. I want to let Dana Russell know that I did, in fact, add you, Dana. I did account for your super chat, which says, throw me in, please. We will have a win on the record by noon Sunday. Please, football gods. Well, it won't be by noon Sunday because I could speak from experience. When I've gotten off the radio at noon the last 2 weeks, the fourth quarter was just underway. So maybe by like 12:50, we might have our win, if you're right, Dana. I hope you're right. I really do. On that note, good luck to everyone. The names have already been shuffled. I'll do it again. You can see Mimosa has the most entries. Ladies and gentlemen, if you win, you have to email me your name, your address, your size for the Wilson jersey, and the color you want it in. On that note, your winner is the Human Fund. Yeah, let's go. The Human Fund's awesome. Big time part of the community. He wins the raffle. A G5 jersey's coming his way. Hit the Jet chant. Congrats to the Human Fund, one of the all-time greats. He's the winner. Shoot me an email, Human Fund, and we'll get that jersey ordered for you. Dylan, plug your channel before we depart. What can people expect if they subscribe to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan Tereman, just as you see it on the screen here, on the road to 2,000 subs. Certainly would appreciate all the help getting to that number. Let's see. This week I did a video. How should the regime handle the trade deadline? How should, they go about the quarterback market? I did a breakdown on Dante Moore, like we talked about. Do we even trust those guys to make the decision? I also did a little bit of a quicker video on the here we go again mentality, because I felt like it really didn't sit right with me. So tons of videos coming out. I am traveling this weekend, so probably going to put the live show on hold. I do have a cut up of Mason Taylor catches from last week that I want to put out on film. So I'll probably put a video out tonight or tomorrow just of Mason Taylor's catches, because I understand some of it was garbage time, sure, but he does such a good job with his hands. He's such a strong-handed receiver. He's fighting through contact on like half of these catches, and I think he's really impressed me so far throughout the season. So I will have something about Mason Taylor on the feed. And I appreciate it. Everybody checking it out. Dylan Tereman, just as you see it on the screen right here.
We are back at it tomorrow. Football Friday. We'll have some giveaways that should be exciting. Fireman Ed in the morning, Nick Faria in the afternoon. Another day closer to the Jets and the Denver Broncos. A team that Charles Gorman maybe considered rooting for because they're off to a really good start. And Charles Gorman has proven to be a fraud. It's unfortunate.
He likes the horse teams.
That is true. That is true. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, it's time to end the show. And I'm going to play you a clip that feels appropriate after what we just discussed. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.
People think I don't want to work, which is not true. I just had a bit of a nap not too long ago, too, so that didn't help.
I love it, dude.
You're talking about how people don't.
You can't say that people think you don't want a job and then say that you came off a real good nap. It's a hard two sentences to put together, Charles. It is. You got Jake off the camera.
How do you not see the irony of that, Charles? This is why Charles is the best of the best.
B-Mac, look at my new hat. B-Mac, I'm a Steelers fan now. Women hate my dude face. Now I'm such a fraud.
You get the fuck out.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the fuck out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.